Hey y'all, I'm live. Can you hear me? Testing one, two, three, testing. I know I'm a little early, but I got on here early so I could set up this live stream. Just 1 second, y'all. Yep, nobody's in here yet. I must really be early. It's all good. Oh, I see somebody. Hey, New Moon. Hey, Jules. Hey, King of Wands. Hey, Reflection and Progression. I'm glad y'all are coming in a little early. Let me just set up this live stream. Who else we got? Hey, Ice Heart. Hey, Annie. How you doing? Yes, I'm glad you caught my live. And you're right on time. You're early, actually. Early bird catches the worm. Oh, I'm tripping. Okay. Butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book. A reading rainbow. I can do anything. Friends to know and ways to go. A reading rainbow. See, I gotta sing something innocent because of tonight's content, tonight's topic. So I gotta start it off with something kind of innocent, something kind of pure. Because we're gonna get a little raunchy tonight. I can go anywhere. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. The reason why I'm singing this song is I keep getting this recommendation on YouTube to listen to this woman, the woman that sang that song. So I guess that's why it's in my head. But again, like I said, I got to start it off kind of clean because tonight's going to get a little raunchy. A reading rainbow, reading rainbow. I still don't know what that leaderboard is about. Does anybody know what that leaderboard is on YouTube? And where? Okay, where's the live stream? Okay, who else is in here? Hey, Taurus, baby. Hey, Miss Ray Sons. Hey, Tyrell. Hey, Water Minx. Oh, oh, Dr. Ken. Dr. Ken, your new moon. Okay. Hey, Dr. Ken. Hey, Shine Starla, Diggable Planet up in the house. Hey, Kawaii, Diggable Planet. Yes, Reading Rainbow. Remember the Reading Rainbow days? I long for those days where, yeah, you would be able to watch Reading Rainbow and some wholesome television shows. It's like that word wholesome don't even exist anymore, at least in terms of entertainment, right? Reading Rainbow. What's another song that was very much indicative of our youth? Uh, let's see. Sunshine, you are my sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Oh, please don't take my sunshine away. So that's another one. I kind of long for those days of innocence. Sunny days sweeping the clouds away. On my way to where the air is free. Won't you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Right? Those were the days. What's another one? Jules said, I'm interested in this subject. I did this work for 3 months years ago. Lilith at the 29th degree of Aquarius. Interesting. How did you like it? 3 months, that's not too long in the industry. But I'm sure you got some stories and, I'm sure you gained some experience in that department. Oh yeah, that's a good one, Tuli. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Mm. I can see all obstacles in my way. And then what's the other one? The sun will come out tomorrow, but you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're always a day away. We have to sing some songs to like instill hope because it does seem like we're living in some dark times, dark days. I swear. Sometimes I really be looking at the way this world is headed, and I'm just shaking my head like, wow, how's things going to look in 10 years? And it's 2026, and we still have countries, including the country I live in, United States, that feel it's necessary to go to war with other countries. I mean, it's so lame. It's just so lame. But yeah. So I'm not going to tarry too long. Let's see. Okay, it is 7 o'clock. So we're going to get into this main topic. And this is a sponsored video sponsored by none other than my girl, Kawaii Honey. Thank you, Kawaii, for sponsoring yet another video. Kawaii really be holding me down. And I'm so grateful for you, Kawaii. And this did take a while for me to get out, but I have to admit, it's a touchy subject. I know not everybody is into this sort of content. Um, some people may not even partake of adult entertainment. I did put a poll out there. Matter of fact, let me pull up the poll and talk about the results. Just 1 second. Last week, I created a poll about adult entertainment, basically asking people what their thoughts were on adult entertainment. So let me go through the poll results. So I said this poll is related to my upcoming video coming soon. No pun intended. Well, bring them on, Kauai. You got me for life. So I'm ready. And I think I have to, I know I got to do that other one from that previous list. And then there's some others. But yeah, Kauai's going to keep me busy for the rest of my career, I feel like. And I love it. But yeah, so I wrote, this poll is related to my upcoming video coming soon, no pun intended. How do you feel about adult entertainment, namely porn? And you can share your thoughts now. So if you didn't get a chance, hey Abu, if you didn't get, hey Open 642, if you, hey 12 Red Hot Fire, hey No Meat, please. Yes, the electric company. Hey you guys. Um, if you didn't get a chance to vote in the poll, you could share your thoughts, or even if you did vote in the poll, you could share your thoughts now on adult entertainment, in particular porn. But also, we could talk about prostitution. Let's start with prostitution because this sponsored video is about sex workers in general. And of course, prostitutes are sex workers. So we're going to start with a poll right now. Let me see if I can do a poll on here. I don't think I can. But anyway, we'll just do one and two. So, starting with prostitution, which is a form of adult entertainment, it's a form of sex work. Do you believe that prostitution should be illegal? If you believe it should be illegal, type one. If you believe that prostitution should be legal, press two. Keep in mind that if prostitution is legalized, that means they're going to have to tax it. They're going to tax it and they're going to regulate it, meaning they're going to have certain laws and rules and statutes in place. And a lot of times, laws, rules, and statutes are put in place to protect the people that are performing the service. So I have no problem with like laws and rules and statutes and whatnot, as long, as long as it's not excessive. So again, press one if you believe that prostitution should be illegal. Press two if you believe that prostitution should be legalized. I'm going to press two. And I felt like this for years that prostitution should be legalized, especially because pornography is legalized. At least in the United States, it's legalized, but it's legalized in a lot of countries throughout the world. So I always thought that there was this, you know, conflict, or there was this, what would you call it? Contradiction with pornography being legal, but prostitution being illegal. And I was like, well, isn't it all sex at the end of the day? How can pornography be legal, but prostitution is illegal? And I feel like the reason why prostitution is illegal is because it empowers certain women too much. Whereas the pornography industry, being male dominated, you know, that can explain why it's legalized. And with the pornography industry, women don't have as much control as they would if they, were prostitutes. Those that don't have a pimp, that is. Now, if you're going to legalize prostitution, I think you should make pimps illegal, because pimping, in my opinion, comes with abuse. And it's not really my opinion. It's just that's the way it is. It tends to be like men that are pimps, and even some women that are pimps, they are abusive. Because how else are you going to keep the women or your subjects in line but to be very controlling? And if you feel like you're losing control, then the abuse comes next. So I believe if you're going to make prostitution legal, then pimps need to be illegal. I don't believe you should be able to profit off of anybody's anybody that's having sex with other people. Like, that should be all their money. Unless that person, is of sound mind and they are entering into an actual partnership, not where they have a pimp and the pimp is taking all the money. That's crazy. Siobhan said, but the government is the biggest pimp of them all. Yes, the government always has to get their cut, and that shit be pissing me off. The government don't be putting in no work, but they always got to get their cut at the end of the day. And sometimes, if they can, they'll take more than what you get. Iceheart said, only legal if on camera. Siobhan said, it's just harder to regulate because someone has to be held accountable. Edward 8717 said, but if legalized, price gougers will reign supreme. I guess you got a point. Jules Verne said, but it's legal here already. Is that Australia, Jules? Tyrell said, do what you got to do. Hey, you got to use what you got to get what you want. We got to use what we got to get what we want. You use what we got to get what we want. Lovable said, hey Ra, I'm a burlesque and pole dancer. Done some dominatrix work. Gemini Sun, Leo stellium with Venus, Jupiter, and Mars. Now, if you watch my Dark Side of Gemini female video, I said Gemini is the stripper of the zodiac. So there you go. Lovable '09 is a Gemini with a Leo stellium, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, which is perfect for being a pole dancer. Basically, just being in the adult entertainment world is perfect for being a performer. Hell yeah. Do your thing, make that money, girl. But don't let it make you. Isn't that what Diamond said in Players Club? She said, make that money, Ebony. Don't let it make you. Right? Dollar bill, dollar bill. But at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, the dollar bill. And people got to get in where they fit in. And some people feel like the best way that they can fit in is by being a sex worker. Now, I will have to say, this is not a space where we're going to do a bunch of slut shaming, okay? And really, I don't like that term, slut shaming. I'm like, it really ain't about like, uh, oh, you shouldn't be shaming slut. Like, I never liked that term. But my thing is, if you're gonna be a slut, be a proud slut. You know what I'm saying? But again, this live stream is not to slut shame any of these people that I'm going to be discussing. Yes, Bernie Mac, Dollar Bill, Players Club. This is more informative and this is more about educating people about the astrology that goes into this type of work, sex work, that is. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Of course, I have a PowerPoint for y'all because this is essentially class. So, class is in session. And let me share my screen. Oh, I didn't put up the thumbnail. Let me put the thumbnail up first. I'm in a daze. I'm so confused. Since you have stopped running, I'll take my time. I'll wait for you. 'Cause I know you'll be calling. I'll be gentle. Please be gentle when I'm loving you. Oh, I'm tripping. Anybody know that song? That's some old school shit. You got to be around my age to even know what that song is, unless your parents raised you on some good music. Cause I know you'll be calling. I love to love you, baby. I love to love. Does anybody know that song by Diana Ross? Love to love you, baby. I got a story about that. It ain't like an elaborate story, but you know how certain songs will trigger memories. So Diane, why I say Diana? Donna Summer, Queen of Disco. She had this song back in the day called Love to Love You Baby. It's a very sexy song. I mean, it's a song that belongs for porn basically cuz in the song it's basically instrumental and she's just saying, "When I think of just to me, that was not easy." And then she's just moaning and groaning and like simulating orgasm. And I remember the first time I heard that song, I was in the car with my dad, being my young impressionable self. I was like, what is this? And I remember being so embarrassed because my dad just let the song play and I was like, oh my goodness, what are we listening to? But yeah, that was part of my first education into the realm of sex. And it really caught me off guard because it was a woman singing it. And it was Donna Summer. And I was already familiar with Donna Summer, like with her song Bad Girls, but I didn't even know that Bad Girls was about prostitutes. Bad girls, talking about bad girls, yeah. And then when they were like, toot toot, hey, beep beep, toot 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 toot, hey, beep beep. I did not know the toot toot part was dealing with cocaine. Yeah. They were able to slide a lot of shit past us back in the day. Now they're just blatant with it. Like Sexy Red, she just blatant with it. Her pussy pink booty hole brown type stuff. Like back in the day, it was more about sexual innuendos. It wasn't all this blatant stuff. But I will say the Gen Xers, they really did change the game with bringing sexual innuendo to just blatant sex talk, starting with like Little Kim. But even before Little Kim, there was like a couple of like Luke, Uncle Luke, Two Live Crew. So I will admit that, Gen X is largely responsible for, you know, entertainment becoming raunchier and scandalous. Love to love you, baby. Oh, love to love you, baby. Hey, Nate the Great. That sounds like a porn star name, Nate the Great. Have you ever made some films? Are you on the hub or what? What's your at? No, let me stop. Okay, so I got the thumbnail up. All right, let's start with this PowerPoint. And I did have to do some research. So first, let me explain my research methods. So I wanted to get some stats on some of these sex workers all the sex workers that I researched, they're all in pornography. They're all porn stars. Well, I can't even say stars. Not every person that acts in porn is a star, but I'll say they all have been in pornos. So the sample, unfortunately, is not very big. So I have a handful of porn actors and actresses. So I have a sample of 30. Hey, Indigo. I have a sample of 30. And out of that sample, I was just looking for certain signs and placements and whatnot. So we're going to go through some stats, which I think you're going to find pretty interesting. Oh, Nathan, I'm really sad Mars left Aries. I get what you're saying. Because Mars and Taurus can be a bit of a, I don't want to say a bit of a drag, but it's not as exciting as Mars and Aries. Do me, baby. Do me, baby. Do me, baby. Smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no. Okay, y'all see where we're at. Does anybody know who this lovely lady is right here? Anybody recognize her? Now, she's from way, way back in the day. She's one of the pioneers. I just want to know if anybody recognize her. Anybody know who she is? Hey, Miss Pink Diva. Nate said, I was thriving when Mars was in Aries. Hey, Laval. Kauai said, not Kama Sutra. But Kauai, it took me a while trying to find the right image for the thumbnail. So I had to settle on this. I was like, I wanted to look raunchy. Of course, Indigo, you would know. Yes, that is none other than Miss Vanessa Del Rio, one of the greatest that ever did it. One of the pioneers. Spicy Latina. Yes. So we're going to talk about Vanessa as well as some other notable porn stars as we get through this PowerPoint. But yeah, I was trying to come up with the right image, and this is what I settled on. But also, I wanted to use an image that is representative of ancient times, ancient history, just to let you know that pornography has always been a thing. Starting with cave paintings, going to like sculptures like this, with like depicting Kama Sutra, the Indian from India, all the way up to our modern days and times. Yes, that's Vanessa Del Rio. Now, I have to stop share for a minute because I wanted to read up on this really quick. I'm just gonna read a little bit about the history of porn. So, pornography, this is from Wikipedia. Pornography, colloquially called porn, porno, and triple X, pronounced triple X, is sexually suggestive material such as a picture, video, text, or audio intended for sexual arousal. Made for consumption by adults, pornographic depictions have evolved from cave paintings some 40 millennia ago to modern day virtual reality presentations. A general distinction of adults only sexual content is made, classifying it as pornography or erotica. The oldest artifacts considered pornographic were discovered in Germany in 2008 and are dated to be at least 35,000 years old. Human enchantment with sexual imagery representations has been a constant throughout history. However, the reception of such imagery vary according to the historical, cultural, and national context. The Indian Sanskrit text Kama Sutra, which was produced in the 3rd century CE, contained prose, poetry, and illustrations regarding sexual behavior, and the book was celebrated. While the British English text Fanny Hill, that came out in 1748, considered the first original English prose pornography, has been one of the most prosecuted and banned books. In the late 19th century, a film by Thomas Edison that depicted a kiss was denounced as obscene in the United States, whereas Eugene Perrault's 1896 film Bedtime for the Bride was received very favorably in France. Starting from the mid 20th century on, societal attitudes towards sexuality became lenient in the Western world, where legal definitions of obscenity were made limited. In 1969, Blue Movie by Andy Warhol became the first film to depict unsimulated sex that received a wide theatrical release in the United States. This was followed by the golden age of porn, 1969 to 1984. The introduction of home video and the World Wide Web in the late 20th century led to global growth in the pornography business. Beginning in the 21st century, greater access to the internet and affordable smartphones made pornography more mainstream. Pornography has been vouched to provision a safe outlet for sexual desires that may not be satisfied within relationships and be a facilitator of sexual fulfillment in people who do not have a partner. Pornography consumption is found to induce psychological moods and emotions similar to those evoked during sexual intercourse and casual sex. Pornography usage is considered a widespread recreational activity in line with other digitally mediated activities such as the use of social media or video games. People who regard porn as sex education material were identified as more likely not to use condoms in their own sex life, thereby assuming a higher risk of contracting sexually transmitted infections. Performers working for pornographic studios undergo regular testing for STIs, unlike much of the general public. So basically, Wikipedia is saying that the porn stars are more health conscious than the average person having sex. But that's because they have to be, because it's regulated. Now, comparative studies indicate higher tolerance and consumption of pornography among adults tends to be associated with their greater support for gender equality. Among feminist groups, some seek to abolish pornography, believing it to be harmful, while others oppose censorship efforts, insisting it is benign. A longitudinal study ascertained pornography use is not a predictive factor in intimate partner violence. Porn Study, started in 2014, is the first international peer-reviewed academic journal dedicated to critical study of pornographic products and services. All right, so let's get back into this PowerPoint. I just wanted to read a little tidbit of historical information on this. I wanna sex you up. Indigo said, I used to run a corn blog and work behind the scenes myself while I remember I used to follow you on, what was it Tumblr, Indigo? I think I was following you on Tumblr. Cheem said the tribe runs the corn business. Yup, yes they do. Even the Orthodox ones. They own a lot of the shops in Manhattan, from what I heard. And maybe some in Brooklyn too. Okay, so this video has been sponsored by Kawaii Honey. Thank you Kawaii for sponsoring this video. And Kawaii wants to know, she asks, what makes an individual become sex worker online or adult industry by the astrological aspects and placements in their astrological chart? One thing to keep in mind with in relation to this question is that sex workers are basically just like any other person. So there's not going to be this like definitive astrological makeup that's going to represent, oh, that person right there is a porn star, or that person right there is a prostitute, because there's more than one way to skin a cat. So you're going to see a number of aspects, a number of factors. You're going to see certain signs that are prominent that will basically point to, oh, it makes it easy for this person to do that type of work, or this person is comfortable being naked in front of a camera. This person is able to have a lot of sex due to what's in their chart. But we know that there's plenty of people that have a lot of sex, that have a high body count, for instance, that have never been in a porno or that have never been a prostitute, which is why you'll see the astrological configuration or the astrological makeup is rather broad. And if you think about it, there's thousands upon thousands of sex workers in the world. So naturally, these people are going to have charts that are very similar to the average person's chart, especially the average person that likes sex, that's very sexual. And we know that there's a lot of average people out there who are very sexual. There's a lot of hypersexual people out there. So again, basically what I'm saying is it's not like very definitive, like, oh, this aspect alone is pointing to them being a porn star. Because there's going to be different manifestations, different variations of planets in the signs, making aspects and whatnot that can contribute to someone being okay with being a porn star, or someone, like I said, being okay with having a high body count where it just comes easy or naturally to them, or where they really enjoy sex. And sometimes people, you'll have some porn stars, they get into the industry because they need to make money and they feel like this is the easiest way, or they feel like there's no other way for them to make money. But then you'll have some, they do it for the love of the game. They just love to have sex. So, like, what better way than to make money while they're doing something that they love? So, for some of them, it's a labor of love. For others, it's just straight up labor where, look, I need to get paid. For others, it's representing, some trauma that they've experienced when they were young, and it's coming out through them participating in porn or them being on OnlyFans and stuff. There was a statistic, I forget exactly what the number is, but it might be like 80% of porn stars have been molested when they were young, which is something to really consider and something nobody really wants to think about while they're enjoying a triple X movie. But it is what it is. A lot of these people, they end up in the industry because they've dealt with some trauma when they were younger. They dealt with, molestation or straight up, rape as when they were young or whatever. And this is how they deal with that trauma. So, yeah, it's going to be rather broad in terms of what constitutes a porn star or a sex worker. But we're going to get into this now. So, starting with Neptune sextile Pluto. And just about everybody has this sextile in their chart because it's a cross generational aspect and it's been in effect for decades. So it's a cross generational aspect that facilitated the acceptance and proliferation of pornography via photographs, film, and videos, with Neptune representing the photographs, the film, and videos, and Pluto representing sex. So the sexual revolution that started in the 60s with the baby boomers, that was coming into play with the baby boomers that were born when Neptune in Libra was in sextile with Pluto in Leo. So the bulk of baby boomers have this sextile in their chart. And it was during the baby boomers coming of age that there was the sexual revolution, and where porn started to become more acceptable. It started to be shown on the silver screen. Major motion pictures like the movie Deep Throat. I believe that came out like in 1970. Let me look and see when Deep Throat came out. And then you started to see all these sex shops. crop up. All of these strip clubs started to appear. But Neptune and Libra, sextile Pluto and Leo, really helped to bring that out into the open, helped it bring it to the forefront and make it more acceptable. Let's see, Deep Throat. That was scandalous. The whole premise of that film, it's disgusting, first of all. And the story of the woman that starred in that film, it's like, it's crazy. And I will be talking about her a little bit tonight. So it came out in 1972. So Deep Throat is a 1972 American pornographic film written and directed by Gerald Damiano, listed in the credits as Jerry Gerard, starring Linda Lovelace. It is considered the forefront of the golden age of porn. And again, the golden age of porn was from 1969 to 1984. Then we had Neptune and Scorpio, sextile Pluto and Virgo. That's when it was really starting to become prolific pornography. And when I say that's when it was starting to become prolific, meaning the people that were born when this sextile was in place. So they really found it easy, not everybody, but the people that had this sextile that were in porn found it even easier to do it than those that had Neptune and Libra, sextile Pluto and Leo. And then my generation, I'm the Neptune and Sagittarius, sextile Pluto and Libra. This is like, oh, now we're using it to spice up our married life. Or, it was common to be with your boyfriend or your husband or whatever and watching the movies together. Then we had Neptune and Capricorn, sextile Pluto and Scorpio. I believe with this sextile, you started to see porn become very dark. And you started probably see more like the torture porn or just hardcore porn, where now like it's getting real crazy. And then Neptune in Aquarius, sextile Pluto and Sagittarius. Neptune in Pisces, sextile Pluto in Capricorn. Neptune in Aries, sextile Pluto in Aquarius, which is where we're at right now. So it'll be interesting to see how porn evolves with Neptune and Aries, sextile Pluto in Aquarius. I don't know if like OnlyFans is still like a major thing, but it seems like it's kind of dying out. But you could say a lot of the people, the young people that have Neptune in Aquarius, sextile Pluto, and Sagittarius, they're probably making good money on OnlyFans. These are your Gen Zers. And then you got the next generations with these sextiles where it's like, okay, what's next? How much further can you go with this? And maybe it'll come to a point where people will just start to get burnt out because it's so prevalent now, it's so easily accessible that maybe people will start to be like, okay, well, this shit is lame. Like we done seen everything at this point. Jules said I'm a butt fan. Hey, Mina Bina. You sound the real deal in reading trends. You did a reading for me last August, and a lot of what you predicted has already come to pass. Thank you so much. Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you for your testimonial. Thank you. But again, bottom line, Neptune, sextile Pluto is a cross-generational aspect that facilitated the acceptance and proliferation of pornography via photographs, film, and videos. All right, so let's talk about the signs. Hey, Justin. I love you too. Hey, Lilith. Oh, you're not that late. I'm just getting started, Lilith. But now we're going to talk about what each sign means in terms of sex and in terms of porn in particular. So, while this video is about sex workers, I'm mainly focused on people in the pornography industry. So, starting with Aries. And before I started to do the research with my sample. Again, I took a sample of 30 porn actors and actresses, and I already had a good feeling that Aries would be one of the prominent signs in these stats, because Aries is a sign that is like, I'm going to do what I want when I want. And Aries is raw, it's uncut. So Aries, raw, uncut, even to the point of doing things raw dog. So it's like, oh, he raw dogging her. That's very Aries, because Aries don't even think about putting on a condom. You know what I mean? Aries is not about, oh, let's prepare and let's engage in safe sex. Aries is about being spontaneous, impulsive, uninhibited. So to make for a great porn star where you don't have any type of inhibitions, yeah, it helps to have some strong Aries energy. So raw, uncut, uninhibited, animalistic, desire, drive, and in this case, sex drive, passion, energetic, vigorous. Next, we have Taurus. Taurus, that's where the sensuality comes into play. Tactile, meaning like touching. Beauty, the mouth. The mouth comes into play heavily when it comes to porn and just sexual activity, period. Oral. So if a porn star is known for their oral skills, there's a high chance they're going to have planets in Taurus, or they're going to be a Taurus rising. Now that makes me think of Superhead. See, now I gotta stop share because I gotta pull her chart. Hold on. Because I want to see if she got something in Taurus. Now I know she's a Virgo, but she's known, her nickname Superhead. She's known for giving good blowjobs, oral. So let me look at her chart real quick. Corinne Stephens. She was in a porno. I think she's done at least one. Please say I still have her chart. Because I don't feel like pulling it. Oh, yes, here it is. Okay, there you go. Corinne Stephens has Moon in Taurus and Chiron in Taurus. That's why she's Superhead. Yes, Kawhi, she has Moon in Taurus. So you see what I mean? If you're known for giving oral, more than likely you're going to have a planet in Taurus, or you're going to be a Taurus rising. All right, let me pull this back up. Hold on. Darn. I don't want to be a player no more. All right. And then, of course, the money factor comes into play with porn. These people at the end of the day, they're making money. And then natural. There's porn genres where it's about being natural, natural breasts, natural ass, like no BBL, just natural. Even like going all natural in nature. So that's going to be Taurus as well. And I have a great example of this, which you'll see later. So keep that in mind. Taurus equals natural. So even if, let's say, it's a guy that watches porn and he prefers to watch natural women, women that don't have breast implants or BBLs, then he could have planets in Taurus. He could have Venus in Taurus. He wants a natural chick. He might have Moon in Taurus. Oh, honey said, you got my girl Jay East from the 80s, Sun conjunct Venus in Scorpio, Mars and Saturn in Scorpio, Moon in Aries, Mercury in Pisces, Uranus in Cancer. Oh, you got it down. Wow, okay. You're studying. All right, Gemini. I also knew Gemini would be one of the signs that would be very prominent when it came to porn stars as well. Now, Gemini alone is the sign of immorality. So Gemini is just a sign where it's like, hey, no qualms about having sex on camera or having sex with a lot of people or, just spreading themselves around. And I'm not saying all Geminis are immoral. Take the people out of it. Gemini itself, the purest form of Gemini, is not a moralistic sign. It's just about information. It's just about communication. But it knows nothing about morals. And that's why you'll have quite a few porn stars got planets in Gemini. Also, Gemini is a sign that can rationalize any action or behavior. Hey, Alexander, I'm glad you joined us. Gemini can have a devil may care attitude about things. I don't care if they see my naked ass. Bisexuality is a major theme of Gemini. Also, broadcasting and media. Gemini is flexible, and that can even be in the physical sense, but also flexible in terms of, oh, I can have sex with John today and I can have sex with Marcus tomorrow. Multiples. So Gemini comes into play when it comes to multiples. So threesomes, foursomes, gangbangs. Gemini also deals with the hands, and the hands come into play when it comes to sex, especially if you're giving somebody a hand job. And then scripts. Some porn scenes are scripted, right? And then talking. You'll have some porn stars that are very much about sex talk, talking shit, and all that good stuff. Next, we have Cancer. Cancer rules the breast. So that's where that comes into play. Cancer also rules the chest. And when we're talking about those movies where it's like family, I remember one of the first X-rated movies I saw was called Taboo. And it was about this family that was getting it on with each other. Isn't that crazy? Like one of the first movies I watched, and it wasn't a movie. I didn't come up with the idea. I was over at one of my friend's house, and her parents had that movie. So, family fetish, where it's all up in the family, or women in general, that's Cancer. Those MILF movies. MILF stands for Mom, I love to fuck, or I like to fuck. And then race. Race comes into play with everything just about, but even in the porn industry, is rather racist. So you'll have plenty of white porn stars that refuse to have sex with black porn stars because they don't want to be pigeonholed or typecast, or they don't want their so-called reputation to be tarnished. But the race theme is very big in the porn industry. Leo. Leo is about exhibitionism, showing off what you got, but also stardom. So the porn stars that are very popular, the stars, they're going to have Leo, some planets in Leo or be a Leo rising more often than not. Celebrity, passion, desire, and Leo rules recreational sex, which is why you'll have quite a few Leo individuals. They're very sexual creatures. Virgo. Virgo, you ever, hear of those barely legal movies, barely 18 type stuff? That's very Virgo. It's on the Leo end too, but it's very much Virgo even more because Virgo is that sign of innocence and virginity. You said you love BBWs? Oh, well, you would love me. It's like, nah, I'm not a BBW, but I'm thick. Um, Barely legal, nymphs, submissives, service. So, Virgo is about service. Virgo is about putting in that work. So, when you talk about sex workers, I mean, it is work at the end of the day. And then getting into a routine. Very much, yes, it could be very Lolita coded with this Virgo energy because again, Virgo is the sign of innocence. It is a youthful sign like Leo, but even more so with Virgo, we're talking about virginity, we're talking about innocence, we're talking about purity, and then routines, getting into a routine. That's what you got to do when you're a porn star. And then technique, using certain techniques, that's very Virgo. And then, of course, in pornography, you have to be very concerned with health and hygiene. So, those porn stars that are Virgos, they better watch out because a lot of times they'll be the one that catches something. The Scorpios as well. Libra. Libra is partnerships, of course, and you got some porn stars that partner up with other porn stars and they end up being featured in a number of films together. Also, Libra just deals with the opposite sex. Libra is about public displays, characterization, so playing certain characters, roles, and reciprocation. To be good in any, porn movie, you got to be able to reciprocate. Scorpio. Scorpio is sex itself, but also the genitals. Scorpio is the orgasm. Scorpio is things that are nasty, slutty, hoe, taboos, things that are forbidden. Also, when we want to talk about anal sex, that's Scorpio, and infections. So, again, if you have planets in Scorpio and you think you're going to be in porn, don't be surprised if you take something home with you at the end of the night. Sexually transmitted infections. Very common when you have Scorpio energy and you are a hoe. Yes, slutty hoe. Sagittarius. Now, I knew Sagittarius would be up there as well in terms of one of the prominent signs because Sagittarius is about busting it wide open. They don't talk about that enough with Sagittarius, but Sagittarius is the busting it wide open sign. Or it could just still wait where you're just very open with yourself, and that goes hand in hand with freedom. Also, Sagittarius is hedonistic. It's about excess. Like Sagittarius can easily produce a high body count. Acrobatics, interracial. So interracial porn, a lot of those porn actors that are in the interracial porn, they're going to have planets in Sagittarius. They might have the moon in Sagittarius or Venus in Sagittarius. They might be a Sagittarius rising. But that's Sagittarius. Semen. You got some movies out there where the person likes to get all hit up in the face. They like to get the glazed donut and all. You know what I mean? A lot of them gonna have planets in Sagittarius. The ones that like to get nut all over their face. Augmentations such as getting breast implants or getting a BBL, Sagittarius. And then gangbangs, Sagittarius. Did I mention that Gemini is also a sign for the gangbangs as well? Like I said, threesomes, just multiples, gangbangs. Capricorn. Capricorn, that's where the S&M comes into play. BDSM, smut. That word smut, that's very Capricorn. Degrading sex acts, very Capricorn. And then when you want to talk about the black genre of porn, Capricorn. Not saying that Capricorn rules black people per se, but it rules the word black. So if you're seeing black come up with porn, yeah, the people might have, like for instance, a white chick that has sex with black men in a porno, she probably has planets in Capricorn. She might have Mars in Capricorn. She might prefer black men simply with having Mars in Capricorn. Aquarius. Aquarius, that's where the nudity comes in. Group sex, orgies, gangbang. So Aquarius is another sign of the gangbang because Aquarius is about groups. It's about the collective. Everybody can get some. Also, Aquarius, this is where the LGBTQ comes into play. Aquarius is also perversions, fetishes, and sex toys. And sex toys comes into play a lot with porn. And then Pisces. Pisces is the movies themselves, the films, the videos, the photos. Pisces is fantasy, the costumes, the lingerie, the latex, scandalous. and masturbation. And you know, masturbation and porn goes hand in hand. So, yeah, you'll have people who have Pisces energy that love to masturbate. They can't get enough. And yes, the feet. So some fetishes are very much Pisces as well, like a foot fetish. So that would belong to Pisces. But a fetish is basically representing something that goes beyond normal sexual encounters, which is why it's more on the Aquarian end. But foot fetish in particular, that is Pisces. So yes. Now let's get into the stats. This is where you might be like, huh, this is interesting. So this is a chart of the personal planets in the signs. So Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars. So again, out of a sample of 30 porn stars, I wanted to see, what signs were dominating in terms of their personal planets. So as you can see, look at the most populous sign right here. What sign is that? Gemini. Yes, Gemini being the highest. Why did I say that? Because Gemini, what? It's the sign of immorality. It's the sign of the devil may care. Like, I don't care. Like, and Gemini is also the sign where it's willing to try anything at least once. Gemini is the sign of variety. It's the sign that gets around. That's why Tupac came out with the song I Get Around. Tupac, Gemini. So yeah, that's why Biggie Small, a lot of his raps like was on some next shit, raunchy. You're like, what? Because again, Gemini is basically information. It's not morality. It's not moralistic. So it's liable to say anything. So yeah, out of the 30 porn stars, Gemini comes in at the top. And I believe that's like 43%. And that equates to how many? Into my notes. Oh, but this is all across the board. I'm going to break it down per sun, Mercury, all that. But yeah. And then we see Aries is pretty high, like I said. Virgo is pretty high, Scorpio and Sagittarius. So the signs that are the most prominent with the personal planets for these 30 porn stars is Gemini first. Then we have Aries coming in next. And then these are all equal Virgo, Scorpio, Sagittarius. The lowest number would be, I guess, Leo. But it kind of makes sense because Leo does have this pride. So sometimes Leo might be too prideful to do that type of work. And it makes sense that Aquarius is kind of on the low end too, even though Aquarius deals with nudity. And keep in mind, with these 30 porn stars, I only was able to get the birth times for like three of them. Because it's porn, a lot of these people aren't going to have birth times because they're just not prominent like that. They're not popular like that. So I had to go with what I could, I had to work with what I had. All right, so you see the stats with the personal planets and the signs, with Gemini being the dominant sign of them all, followed by Aries coming in at like, what would that be, like 37%? And then we have actually Aries, looks like Aries, Virgo, and Scorpio and Sagittarius. Looks like they're all roughly around 37%. All right, next. Oh, here we go. So Aries is 37%, Virgo 37%. Yeah, like I said, Scorpio is 37%, Sagittarius 30%, 37%, Gemini is 43%, Taurus is 27%, which is kind of high when you think about Taurus. But again, Taurus is the sign of sensuality. Cancer is 23%, Leo 20%, Libra is 30%, Capricorn 23%, Aquarius 20%, and Pisces 23%. And again, This is all together, planets in the personal sign. So that would be the sun sign, moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Now let's talk about the sun sign. So when we're talking about the sun sign alone, look what signs dominate. Isn't this interesting? Now it shifts. When we're talking about the sun sign, now we have Taurus and Libra at the highest. Isn't that crazy? Both are like 5 of 30. Next, we have Aries being next. And then we have, what's after that? Virgo. Oops. Oh, I forgot I got the touch screen now. Hold on. I can't touch my screen because it's going to move it. Then we have Virgo. And then we have, and then all of these are the same: Gemini, Leo, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. These are all two. And then Cancer is the least for the sun. And again, this is the sun in the sign. Isn't that funny? Yes, Sierra, Taurus and Libra, both ruled by Venus. And with Taurus, yes, the money comes into play. Also, Taurus is also about survival, but it's also that sensuality. Taurus, don't get it twisted. Taurus loves some sex now. But Libra is interesting because Libra often does care about what other people think. Yeah, Justin says surprised at Libra. So it's interesting. But think about it. These Libras, a lot of them got Scorpio energy. So it's not so much the Libra energy, but it's the Scorpio energy that is really pushing them into porn. The Libra, this is where they're relying on other people to help make a way in life. So, for instance, most porn involves more than one person, so that would make sense with Libra. You need that partner to make it happen. So that makes sense. But yeah, I was quite surprised myself to see Libra being so high up. I really was. I actually was expecting Aries to outnumber Libra. But again, we're talking about the sun here, the sun sign. All right, and you're going to see it shift. Next, we're going to talk about the moon sign. And I have fun researching the moon sign because the moon moves fast. And since I don't have the birth times for most of these porn stars, I had to analyze each chart and look at the moon. Some of it was easy because, some of it you just know, okay, it don't matter what time of day it was, that moon was going to be in that sign. But when the moon was close to the cusp, that's where I had to determine, okay, for instance, is the moon going to be in Libra or is it in Scorpio? Like one of the porn stars. And I was like, because of this person's story, I was like, oh, that moon's definitely in Scorpio. Another case, I think it was a question of whether the moon was in, I'm trying to think. There was a few of them that were toss ups where the moon was on the cusp. So it could either be in one sign or the other. So what I was doing was I was looking at the moon in one sign versus the other and looking at aspects that the moon would be making in the chart if it were in one sign versus the other. And that helped me to determine, and especially based upon details about their life. Like, for instance, oh yeah, Linda Lovelace was one because I don't think I had her birth time. So her moon could have either been in the late degrees of Aries or Taurus, or was it the other way around? Maybe it was late degrees of Taurus or early degrees of Gemini. Yeah, I think it was that. So her moon could have either been in the late degrees of Taurus or the early degrees of Gemini. Considering her life story, I was like, her moon got to be in Taurus because she was in the movie Deep Throat. Taurus rules the throat. So this is how you are able to kind of at least get the birth time kind of within a certain window of time by looking at the moon. And if you know details about the person's life story, then that can help you determine what sign that moon is in. That's if the moon is on the cusp, and you don't know their birth time. So, looking at the moon, look which sign dominates. Are we surprised, Gemini? And when you have moon in Gemini, like the moon is privacy, right? So when you have the moon in Gemini, it's like you're broadcasting your private life. Not saying everybody with moon in Gemini is like that. Sometimes people with moon in Gemini, their privacy will be broadcasted against their will. But with these porn stars, we know they're doing it voluntarily. So it's like with Moon and Gemini, you really don't have much privacy, but it's like these people are okay with it. And then again, the immorality that comes with Gemini, the flexibility, the need for variety, you know, and also Gemini is just a very, sign that is very much about I always got to be doing something or mixing up with people or, talking to this person or whatever. So it makes sense that they would be easy. It would be easy for a Gemini moon to enter into that industry. And then next we have Scorpio moon being next. After that, we have Leo. And then we have Aries and Cancer being neck and neck. The Cancer one it's surprising to a certain extent, but then again, it's not because Cancer rules the breasts. And breasts are very prominent when it comes to porn. So that's how you could explain the Cancer. But then again, the privacy that comes with Cancer and the moon. So with the moon and Cancer, some of these porn stars, even though they're porn stars, they might still be very concerned about maintaining a certain degree of privacy. Or they might complain, like, you know, being in porn has messed up my private life or my personal life, which one porn star actually said in an interview that I'm going to be playing later. Now we see, look at the difference. So we saw Libra being high with the sun, right? There was a lot of Libra sun. But now, when it comes to the Libra moon, it's low. It's one of the lowest signs for the moon, which I find to be interesting. So it's at the same level of Taurus. Remember, Taurus was high for the sun, but now for the moon. Isn't that crazy how they're both at the same level? Oh, I did that again. I gotta stop touching my screen. Hold on. Isn't it crazy how with Taurus and Libra for the sun, they were high? Now, when we're dealing with the moon, Taurus and Libra, and we also have to keep in mind that the moon is family and mother. So, with the moon in Taurus, that's like family values, right? So, maybe the Taurus moons are just like, when they think about doing porn, they're like, I don't know, mom going to feel some type of way. My family, they got certain values. I don't know. And then moon in Libra, that's like your family saying, well, what will the neighbors think or what are people going to say? And now people talking about you and stuff, and now your family, your mom in particular, feels some type of way about it. And so that's something to consider. And then Sagittarius is pretty low. It's at the same level as Capricorn. So we're dealing with, let me just read the numbers here. Where did my notebook go? Oh, here it is. So for the moon, we have Aries is 3. Yep. Taurus is 1. So we only had one person with a Taurus moon. For Gemini, we had 6 people out of 30. Cancer, we had 3 out of 30. Leo, 4. Virgo, we had none. Where Virgo was like pretty much dominating when it came to all of the planets in the personal planets in the signs, that is. But now none of those porn stars had any Virgo moon. But it can make sense because Virgo moons can be very insecure. Libra only had one. There was only two Sagittarius moons, two Capricorn moons. There was only one Aquarius moon and two Pisces moons. Interesting. All right, now let's talk about the Mars sign. Mars is going to be very important when it comes to porn. Pluto will be as well. So I was focused on Mars like first when I was like doing the research and looking at these stats. And then I was, focused on the other planets. But look who's topping the charts again for Mars. Should we be surprised at this point? Gemini, right? So for Mars, Gemini reigns supreme. So Mars, we got 5 out of 30 having Mars in Gemini. And then we have Cancer, Virgo, Libra, and Sagittarius tying each other with having 4 each. And then we have Leo, Capricorn, and Aquarius tying each other with 2 each. And then Aries, Taurus, and Scorpio coming in at 1 each. Interesting, right? Alexander, you got a Gemini Mars. So yeah, so now when we look at Mars, but now we see that Libra is back up there. But everybody needs somebody sometime. And like I said, Libra is about partnership. And that can result in, you having more opportunities if you partner up with certain other stars or what have you, right? So interesting. Mars and Virgo. Mars and Virgo individuals are very much about putting in that work. Mars and Virgo is very much about sex work, among other things, that is. And then I think it's interesting that Mars and Cancer is pretty up there too. And that makes me think like the Mars and Cancer porn stars, they done pissed off their mom, they done pissed off their family, conflicts in the family because of what they do. So you could look at it like that. But you can also look at the Mars and Cancer as, again, a lot of focus is being placed on the breast. And for the men, the chest. So a Mars and Cancer man, he might really be working on making his chest look as good as possible, as delectable as possible. And then again, the privacy that comes with Cancer. So when you have Mars in Cancer, it's easy to experience violations of privacy. So that's a big one when you're working in porn. I mean, your privacy is being violated all the time. I mean, yeah, it's on a voluntary level, but still, it's still a violation of privacy. Venus. So let's look at the Venus stats. So out of the 30 porn stars, Aries and Virgo are dominating with, oh yeah, isn't that interesting? No Mars and Pisces. But Mars and Pisces individuals, they could suffer from an inferiority complex. And again, keep in mind that this sample is very small. We only talking about 30. If I could have did 100, I would have, but I didn't have the time or the energy to do that many. I mean, this type of like subject material can be exhausting. I mean, some of the images I came across, I'm telling you. So it was like I had to cap it at 30. I was like, I done seen enough penises and vaginas. I saw enough. Okay. I was just like, okay, I'm done here. So yeah. But yeah, Aries, Virgo dominating, and then Taurus and Scorpio are tying each other for the Venus, which is interesting. And then we have a tie between Libra, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Pisces, all having 2 each. And then the lowest numbers are Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Aquarius. Mercury. Mercury is really interesting. Nah, for real. I need to put some bleach in my eyes after the stuff I seen after doing some research. Like for real, I was just like, okay, this getting out of hand. Let me just stop now while I'm ahead, right? Oh, I was just like, okay. So Mercury. So, Mercury is dealing with the mind, the conscious mind, that is. So, your mind got to be, you know, geared in a certain way for you to even want to do porn. So, I wasn't surprised that Aries was dominating with the Mercury. So, for Aries, we have 6 out of 30 individuals having Mercury in Aries. And then the next highest is Sagittarius, which makes sense because Sagittarius is about freedom. It's about hedonism. It's about excess. It's about, letting it all hang out. Like I said, Sagittarius is the busting it wide open sign. So it makes sense that both Aries and Sagittarius would be dominating with Mercury. And then Virgo is pretty much up there as well with Mercury. And then and it makes sense because Virgo, they think they're great at everything. So, and a lot of times it's that technique. So with Mercury and Virgo, they're very much about using a certain technique, and they're the type that will basically be bragging about it. Taurus is pretty much up there with three. Scorpio has three as well. And then, as you can see, Mercury in Cancer, Mercury in Leo is totally absent. Like, there's no Mercury in Cancer, no Mercury in Leo. And again, the reason why I'm seeing Leo being underrepresented in this case is because of the pride that comes with Leo. Leo really is, and Leo can be very territorial too. So that could even extend to their bodies. So Leo might have too much pride to be caught out there like that. Mercury and Pisces is there's only one with Mercury and Capricorn. It makes a lot of sense with Mercury and Capricorn. Mercury and Capricorn people, they're rather no nonsense and they could be rather dry too. Literally. No, let me and you gotta be well lubricated to be successful in this industry. And Capricorn can be a little too dry. Like, let me stop. But yeah. Now, I surmise that to be successful in the porn industry, you're gonna need some conjunctions involving Mars or Pluto. And it would help to have like a sextile involving Mars, a trine involving Mars, a sextile involving Pluto, or a trine involving Pluto. So this chart right here is breaking down the percentage of porn stars. Again, I had a sample of 30. The percentage of porn stars that have conjunctions involving either Mars or Pluto, sextiles involving either Mars or Pluto, and the trines involving their Mars or Pluto. Look at these stats. And again, it's really about the trines and the sextiles and the conjunctions. We're dealing with facilitating aspects, aspects that make things easy, or aspects that can result in something coming naturally for someone where they feel very comfortable, they feel very at ease doing the thing. So, for instance, if you had Mars squaring all this, like if you didn't have any positive aspects involving your Mars or Pluto, there's a high chance you probably won't make it far in the porn industry. Key Money said Mars trine Pluto. Exactly. So that's a perfect trine for adult entertainment. It's the perfect trine for being a sex worker. Does it mean that everybody with that trine will go that direction? No, but it can mean that the person may not have any qualms and they probably will be very successful at that type of work. So look at the trines in particular. 70% of the sample has trines involving their Mars or Pluto, and some of them do have Mars trine Pluto. Mars trine Venus is another good aspect for this type of work. Mars trine Neptune is another good aspect for this type of work. Remember, I talked about the cross generational aspect, Neptune sextile Pluto. All of these porn stars have Neptune sextile Pluto in their chart, just about. Maybe there might be one or two that don't, where, the orb was a bit too wide for it to classify as a sextile, but most of them, most if not all. But guess what? I didn't even count that sextile because that's a cross generational sextile. So these stats are not even including the Neptune sextile Pluto aspect, unless there's a planet attached to Neptune or Pluto along with it. The conjunctions we're looking at, like, what would that be? Like 47%. The sextiles, that would be like 52% have sextiles involving Mars or Pluto. And then the trines were at 70%. That is a significant percentage. But again, that's what it takes. You need an aspect that's going to strengthen. So just look at it this way. These sextiles and trines, they strengthen Mars and Pluto in the chart. And it enables the person to be able to utilize their Mars and Pluto in a productive way where they could even make money at it, build a career around it, and so forth. So again, the best trines for porn: Mars trine Pluto, Venus trine Mars. I also threw in there Mars trine Neptune. Mars sextile Neptune is good as well. Now, this is the fun part. We're going to watch a few videos of some of the more popular porn stars just to see them in action. And we're going to talk about the aspects that's in their chart that's going to result in them being successful. And also, we could talk about some aspects that got them into trouble as well. So, actually, I got to stop share and pull up the audio. I mean, I got to set up the audio. Hold on. Wait a minute. What are we doing here? Oh, okay. Share sound, optimize video for sharing. Okay, so this guy right here, his name is Mr. Markets. He's been in the industry for quite a while. He had a scandalous story to tell, so we're going to get into that. But this video right here, it's just a short video clip. It says Mr. Marcus gives advice to men who lack size on how to satisfy women. I haven't watched this yet, so I'll be watching this in real time for the first time with y'all. I'm curious to see what he has to say about how to satisfy a woman when you're lacking in terms of size. Now, y'all let me know if y'all can hear this.
My secret to confidence?
Take on the show up.
That starts at European Wax
Uh,
Center.
and I have ad preview too. Okay. Can y'all hear it? Press one if you can hear it.
That's a real good point. Let me ask you, what advice would you give to guys that's lacking in size?
I say all the time, move her in a different position on her side,
Thank you.
have her put her legs way back, have her get on top of you and go real close so that you're rubbing on her clit. So her clit's kind of grinding on you. That always seems to work. Um, press more into her so that you are more, um, there's more connection or more interaction with her clit. Um, Sometimes
Oh,
not
wait a
even
minute. What's
having
going on? Hold on. Why is it doing that? All right, let's try this again. That's weird. Why am I having a screen thing like that? It's because of the content. It's because we talking about some crazy stuff. Okay, let's try this again. Let's bring it back.
time, move her in a different position on her side, have her put her legs way back, have her get on top of you and go.
He said have her put her legs way back. That's not going to help it if he got a real small one. I'm sorry. It's not like he can go deep. Come on now. Let's just play this from the beginning since the first time it was messed up. So again, this is Mr. Marcus, porn star. It says Mr. Marcus gives advice to men who lack size on how to satisfy women. Okay.
That's a real good point. Let me ask you, what advice would you give to guys that's lacking in size?
I say all the time, move her in a different position on her side, have her put her legs way back, have her get on top of you and go real close so that you're rubbing on her clit. So her clit's kind of grinding on you. That always seems to work. Um, Press more into her so that you are more, there's more, um, there's more connection or more interaction with her clit. Um, Sometimes not even having sex, maybe just kind of rubbing it on her nipples or rubbing it on her clit or playing with her
He said not even having sex. He told the dude, just give up.
ass, or maybe just masturbating. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be penetration. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily have to be in her to arouse her or to make her come. You know what I mean? You just don't think you have to. There's toys, there's role playing, there's a whole other playbook if you don't have this, if you lacking in size. And if she really is a cool one like that, she's not gonna trip on your size.
I must not be a cool one like that because I'm definitely tripping on your side. It's just not going down. It's just not. It was nice knowing you.
She's gonna accommodate you in other ways.
What would you say to guys that's delusional? They're lacking in size and they're trying to do positions that, don't suit them.
I mean, I've been there. I've been there. I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough. She was, I was going, but she was like kind of like, So what I learned, put her in a different position, move in a different way. If she really wants to go there with you, she'll be flexible, you know, because sometimes maybe in the position that you're going, you're traditionally you're not gonna hit her G spot. So maybe have sometimes a thing I love to do, and I'm glad she likes it to be done, is have her lay on her stomach, put her legs together, and then kind of mount her from on top. You're hitting her from a different angle. I haven't seen a girl yet who doesn't like it. She's usually in a comfortable position, but you're also in a position where you're able to control your angle and your depth.
Not if she got a real fat ass. It's not. Think about it. That only works if the chick got a flat ass. If she got a big old booty, it's not going. It's not going. It's just going to go between maybe her ass cheeks, like the tip of her ass cheek. Like, come on now. Why are you lying to these men, Marcus?
Your depth. And so I say find a position that works, that makes her feel something, and kind of and play into that. If you feel like you're not hitting the spot in the position you are in, switch. They have to get creative. You have to figure out if, don't let sex be the only thing.
I have to admit, look at the way he's sitting. This is what I'm like. I was talking to one of my students earlier tonight, and I was saying about how porn stars, when it comes to seeing them in normal situations outside of like sex, they're very awkward. And like I'm just looking at the way he's sitting, and I'm like, he's sitting like he just got some head. And like, I'm sorry, it just, you see how he's all like slack and slouched? Like he can't even be a normal person no more. Like it looked like, I mean, if you really like, if you just like visualize a woman in between his legs right now, that's how he's sitting. Like, he's not even used to like just sitting down in normal situations. Like, these porns, that's the problem with the porn stars. It's like once they get into that industry, it's hard for them to operate in normal daily life, I feel like. All right.
That keeps y'all together, or
Oh,
don't let that dictate everything, because sometimes maybe there's just some kind of other way. There's a just different type of, there's another way to bond, arouse, and climax.
look, he even got his head on top of, I mean, his hand on top of his head, like he getting some right now.
Not and it's not necessarily just like, yo, let's just do what man and woman been doing. Maybe it takes a whole
Come on, y'all know that move that men be making when you They'll put their head on top of their head. That's and then they'll be looking down at you like, yeah.
Whole different approach, whole different technique. You know what I mean? Like a whole different perspective um, that you got to explore. You just got to explore. Don't let
No, you didn't say
size,
smudges
you
on that
know,
couch.
matter. don't don't let it matter. Real shit.
All right, we're gonna do another video. This one is gonna be more serious, featuring Mr. Marcus. So this one is called Mr. Marcus Talks About Contracting Syphilis and Shutting Down the Porn Industry. Remember, I told you he's a Virgo. Remember, I said them Virgos, they gotta be careful about being in porn because they will be one of the main ones that catch something.
All right, so I'm Dr. Rachel, and I know sex, and I am here with a man who knows sex. Mr. Marcus is joining me today. So we've got a couple things to talk about, and the biggest one that I want to ask you is being a guy that's been in the industry for almost going on 20 years now, what is the biggest change you've seen in the adult film industry from where it used to be to where it is now?
Right. I think the biggest change is there's more people doing it. You know, it went from like certain type of girl to the girl next door. And that's because of the internet. I think technology has propelled porn. It made it more accessible, and it's also, you know, put it in more people's hands. You know, it's not underneath the mattress anymore.
Now, how does that affect your bottom line then? I mean, like, because part of this is economics. So how does it affect a professional? Because, you know, you know how to do this. You could do this probably blindfolded. And then you have all the amateurs coming through. Does that affect the bottom line?
Nah, you know, it doesn't affect me. You know, I kind of created my own lane, and you know, I stay true to the sex. There's no gimmick, there's no niche. It's just about the sex. And so for that, you know, there's no competition.
That's great. That's great. Now, you made it sexy to wear a hat during sex. You know?
Yeah.
So Mr. Marcus is the gentleman that probably, if your guy shows up in the bedroom with a hat on, it's because he's seen one of your movies.
Right.
So in terms of that, if you had to pick one thing that you would say you're the proudest of in terms of your performance and stuff, what would that be? What's your one thing that you brought to the industry?
Probably, I mean, I don't know. I like using the word stamina. Longevity.
Definitely.
You see how he says stamina? That's how you know that moon is in Scorpio. So he was one of the ones that had the moon on the cusp, and it could either be in the late degrees of Libra or early degrees of Scorpio. So I set it to that moon being at the 0 degree of Scorpio, considering him catching syphilis. So combining that Scorpio and the Virgo energy, it makes a lot of sense. And then that would put his moon in a close conjunction to Jupiter in Scorpio, which is like that's him having a lot of sex, having a lot of sex with women, him basically being very knowledgeable about a woman's hoo-ha, all of that stuff.
Definitely.
But that Jupiter, and I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm going to discuss his chart, but that Jupiter also left him wide open to contracting a sexually transmitted disease. One of the worst ones, that is.
So I thought that some of that was camera tricks. Is that camera tricks or is that actual?
Nah, I mean, a good editor helps. You know? But he got to work with something, so I do my best, you know, to make it last as long as possible.
Okay, good. Now, bringing that up then, so if you had to give the tip to the guys, like, because, you know, being a sexologist, that's the number one thing guys ask is, how can I last longer? How can I be bigger? If you had to tell them, you know, how can you last longer, what would be your tip?
Well, I mean, a lot of things take practice. You know, don't expect to get with a woman and be, you know, everything she wants. Because usually you can be, and then it'll go downhill from there. Sometimes it's cool to start at the bottom and work your way up, kind of fill each other out. Because I've been with girls that were maybe, it started out great, and then it just kind of didn't really continue. But then I've been with girls where we took the time to learn about each other's bodies and kind of figure out and it's a trust thing, because, you know, you're always like, oh, let me do it, oh, I'll do it, and you're dominating. But then you get to a point where you're comfortable with each other, and then she just kind of let the woman do her thing, and it's a teamwork.
Yeah, team effort.
It's team effort, you know.
Okay, you know that there was this movie that came out recently called The Numbers, where all the ladies were trying to figure out, counting the numbers of guys that they'd been with, and they were counting them, and some were embarrassed and some weren't. Being an adult film star, do you know how many women you've been with? Like, have you?
Nah, I mean, people asked me that before, and then sometimes it's just rude.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you don't want to know.
Know. Okay, so with that being the case, and I know with the industry, there's a couple, like for instance, Vivid Entertainment. I know they require the actresses and actors to wear condoms.
Well, they're condom optional.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, it's the same person,
and
Sam.
Wicked is condom, mandatory.
Okay.
But Vivid is optional. You can, if you want to wear condoms, you can.
You can. Okay, and you've been very vocal throughout that, pretty much, about your opinions as to whether or not people should be required to wear condoms during adult movies. What are your opinions on that?
I'm optional. I believe it's your choice. I don't think we should force it upon.
See, that's his problem right there. That's how he got syphilis in the first place because, he's saying, I believe it should be optional. Oh, no, you shouldn't be in a Virgo sun, and you got Virgo Mars, Virgo South Node, and you got Moon conjoining Jupiter and Scorpio. You're the last person that need to be raw dogging somebody.
Someone, especially when they're consenting adults, because women and men, it's always men get the blame for not wanting to wear condoms, but women are the same way. There are women out there who don't want to have it worn either, and I think that speaks. And if we enforce our testing is pretty rigorous and it's continuous. It kind of overlaps. We get tested so much that I trust our testing system, and I think it's something that can puts us ahead of the crowd when it comes to that, because there is so much sex and there is that testing. But if you throw condoms in the mix, it's not a bad thing. I just don't think that you should force a group of people that are willing to do it and consenting to do it however they want to do it.
Now, you mentioned that you trust the system. I have to go there because recently, for the audience that doesn't know, the porn industry had to shut down a few days because you tested positive for syphilis. Mm-hmm. And can you talk a little bit about what happened? Because there's some alternating stories as to how that happened and how you ended up transmitting it to other people.
Well, in my case, I didn't know I didn't really recognize the symptoms of syphilis because in our industry, we only test for it twice a year.
Okay.
So every 6 months we're testing.
Twice a year? That's not enough.
Chlamydia, gonorrhea, and HIV every month.
Okay.
And during this period, we hadn't been testing for syphilis. And so I'm getting tests and working as normal, but I'm taking the test like everybody else, but we're not taking a syphilis test. And I'm not thinking about syphilis. Mm-hmm. No one in our industry is thinking about syphilis.
He got syphilis that one night when he was having sex with another man.
No one in America is thinking about syphilis.
Right. It's, the numbers were low. I mean, it had, but there's a resurgence of it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, there was a breakout in Europe. Some girls that came here and worked, and then they went there.
His Mars is in Virgo.
So we're trying to identify, but it's kind of hard when some of the people are halfway, across the country, right, on the other side of the world. I got caught up in it because I went to my private doctor because I wasn't feeling right, and I was starting to see symptoms that just going on in my body. There was something wasn't right. I thought it was stress.
I'll tell the story since he wants to be so closed mouth. Basically, he was starting to see like spots on his hands, and he didn't know what the hell it was. He thought it was just some type of like dermatitis. And then I forgot what other symptoms he was getting. And that's when he went to the doctor, he got tested, and that's how he found out he had syphilis. But before he found out, he had infected like 2 other women, female porn stars, with syphilis as well, with his dirty dick.
Yeah.
I thought it was something internal, and I kept thinking, well, maybe it's just because I'm stressed out. And
what were were you losing weight? What were some of the symptoms?
Well, you get a rash, and you get a rash in places. It can be around your genitals, or it can be what I started to get was rashes around my hands. And it was freaking me out. And I was showing people because I was like, what is this? I'm just expecting someone to have the answers.
Right.
He going around showing people. I would have been like, if you don't get the hands away from me, like,
And
hell no.
and people were just like, just go to the doctor. I tried lotion, I tried, vitamins,
Lotion.
Hydrocodone.
He making it worse with the
whatever I can get
lotion.
my hands on. I was just trying to. I thought it maybe it was just a skin thing. I thought it was just continuing from the stress. And I went to my doctor, and he says, blood. He said it looks like syphilis, and we'll do a blood test. And came back, I was positive with syphilis. And then, me being the performer that I am, and being in the industry I am, it kind of made the industry like, whoa, you know.
How did you feel when you got
I think those women sued him or something. I think he had some lawsuits for that.
Were you?
He made no big deal about it because it's, the mistake I made was thinking it was like a virus or a disease, and it was going to, but he was, very specific. Get a shot, you'll be fine.
Okay. So Mr. Marcus has Mercury conjoined to Virgo in Pluto. I mean, Mercury conjoined to Pluto in Virgo. That's the syphilis aspect right there, especially with respect to him seeing it on his hands first, with Mercury ruling the hands. So alone, this conjunction could mean that sex is always on his mind. He's always thinking about sex. He's always scoping people out, like potential sex mates and all that type of stuff. And he's very much about sexual technique. But this same conjunction is what got him caught up out there with the syphilis, with Pluto representing the syphilis. And then Virgo, that's the sign of health and hygiene. And yeah, Mercury ruling the hands. That's why he saw it on his hands first. He freaking going around the set showing people his hands. I would have fired him that that day. Like, come on. Now his Mercury and Pluto and Virgo are in trine with his Saturn and Taurus, and that can represent his company that he started. I think he started the company with a fellow porn actress. Somebody mentioned the European. She was a European. And then he has Moon and Jupiter in Scorpio trine Pisces North Node, which is perfect for porn. That Pisces Scorpio trine is just perfect for porn. It's perfect for sex work. He also had Mars conjoined to his South Node in Virgo. That conjunction alone made him highly susceptible to contracting illnesses and diseases. It makes health and hygiene crucial. But this conjunction was in sextile to his moon and Jupiter in Scorpio, so it did help him out in the porn department, in the sex department, and all that. I would say he's probably really good with technique. Uh, he knows how to satisfy a woman. I'll just say that. But she better watch out. So here's his chart. Unfortunately, I don't have his birth time, but when I arbitrarily pulled his chart, that moon was in Libra, but I was like, with his story and all the sex he's had, I feel like that moon makes more sense being at that 0 degree of Scorpio, could join to Jupiter, and then both planets are in sextile with his Mars and South Node in Virgo. Also, his black moon Lilith in Virgo. I was like, that makes more sense than his moon being in Libra. Now, he does have Libra energy. Oh my God. His Venus is on top of my Venus. My Venus is at the 28th degree of Libra, and his Venus is at the 28th degree of Libra. Oh my God. That means he would know how to satisfy me. I will just say that. Oh Lord. What? Oh my God. And he would have that stellium, his Virgo stellium would be all up in my eighth house. Oh, wow. So thank you so much, Kauai. So Kauai Honey said 5 gift memberships. How does that work? Oh, wow. And then people already received it. That's so dope. Kauai, you are the best. Oh my God. That is so dope of you. That is so nice. Hey, welcome to my Diggable Planet squad, y'all. Y'all are all Diggable Planets now. But you see this Virgo stellium? All of that is in my eighth house. I ain't gonna lie, he would probably have me climbing the walls. Damn. And then his Venus is right on top of my Venus? I would never go there though, because again, I'm not trying to get what he got. But I'm just saying, like, I think he would give me a really good time. Wow. Wow. No, let me stop. I'm just like, wow. I'm like, okay. All right, moving along. Now we got Linda Lovelace. I don't think I got a video of her. She might be the only one I didn't capture a video for. But she's the one, and I'll read a little bit about her. She's the one that was in the movie Deep Throat. And then she later came out saying that she was forced into it by her husband. And my thing is, when I look at her chart, yeah, I can see where her husband had her under mind control, basically. Like she basically was doing everything he wanted her to do. But she tried to make it seem like after she became a born again Christian, that every single film she was in, she basically was forced to do it. And I don't believe that. I believe she voluntarily did some of this stuff. So let me just read about her real quick. Linda Lovelace, she's Capricorn, born January 10th, 1949, was an American actress who became famous for her performance in the 1972 hardcore film Deep Throat. She later spoke out about the fact that her abusive husband, Chuck Trainer, had threatened and coerced her into participation, saying that if you watch the movie, you are watching me get R word or sexually assaulted. In her autobiography, Ordeal, she described what took place behind the scenes. She later became a born again Christian and a spokeswoman for the anti pornography movement. But yeah, she basically said that none of it was voluntary on her part, and then people came out and called her a liar. But look at this South Node, 0 degree of Scorpio. Yeah, she's the one that had relations with animals. Yep, including dogs. On film. South Node at 0 degrees Scorpio. I mean, come on now. That's a perfect recipe for someone who has some past life baggage, dealing with sex, that they bring over into this current lifetime. She had Uranus and Gemini trine South Node in Scorpio, which means that she was down for whatever. Mercury conjoined to Mars in Aquarius. This is where this Mercury conjoined to Mars, that's representing how her man was able to have her mind on lock, or have her mind totally subdued to him. But there's a sextile between this conjunction and her Chiron in Sagittarius, which could make her very liberated, out there, hedonistic. So here's her chart right here. So she's another one that I was like, she must have been born in the early morning with that moon being in Taurus, because that would make sense with that moon representing throat. And then she also has that North Node at the 0 degree of Scorpio. Her being in that movie Deep Throat, it makes a lot of sense. And this pervert right here, Ron Jeremy, he's one of the old school porn. And this just shows you, you can look like anything and be in porn. Oh, wait a minute. Can y'all still hear me? I moved my mic and then I got this little message. Let me know if y'all can still hear me. So I'm going to play this. And this is just talking about Ron Jeremy and his life before he became famous. Ron Jeremy is a Pisces.
It's not nuts, it's peanuts!
How long? 9 3/4 inches. 35 fucking years.
Before Ron Jeremy would star in at least 2,000 adult films like Viva Ron Vegas, Night at the Erotic Museum, Sluts, Butts, and Housewives, as well as The Temple of Poon.
I did a 15-girl scene once. That was tough.
Before Ron Jeremy would appear in over 100 mainstream television and films, including Boondock Saints, Detroit Rock City, Ghostbusters, as well as a million online interviews, some of which were extremely awkward.
I'm no actor, and I have 64 movies to prove it.
Before Ron was ranked #1 by AVN in their top 50 porn stars of all time list. Before Ron Jeremy slept with anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000 women. Before Ron Jeremy made a name for himself as a man who could suck his own dick.
I'm not even joking to you guys. I really wish I was.
Now, Ron Jeremy has slept with so many of the world's most beautiful women, he's actually gone on the record to state that he would rather eat a steak than sleep with a woman. And it looks like he's had a whole bunch of steaks. At the time of this recording, Ron is approaching the ripe old age of 63. Despite his age, the man is still a working porn star, but back in 2013, his life was at risk when he had severe chest pains and was rushed to the hospital. They discovered an aneurysm near his heart, but I'm happy to report he is now doing okay, and the operation, well, it never affected his libido. So long live the king of the dingling. My name is Mike McCredden, documenting the life and career of Ron Jeremy, aka the Hedgehog. Prior to porn, prior to fame, here for you on Before They're Famous. Now, as always, guys, I want to hear from you in the comments down below. Who do you want to hear about next? Also, Ron Jeremy has a crazy story after the fame, so if you want to see a follow-up on After They're Famous, I'll get it done. Let me know if you want to see it down below. I feel like someone's going to be like, I've seen too much already.
Oh, I'll come back. Look, I'll get it maybe some other time.
No, don't go. Come on. Can't be too tough to tell me what you want.
Ron Jeremy was born Ronald Jeremy Hyatt on March 12, 1953 in Queens, New York. His father Arnold was a physicist and his mother...
Ew, look at him. Oh, he was always a creeper.
Mother, a book editor. She also served in the OSS during World War II and spoke fluent German and French. For the most part, young Ronald, his childhood, it was happy and a normal one. He graduated from Cardoza High in Queens, New York in 1971. He discovered his appetite for sex early on and remembers sneaking into the school after hours to get it on in the classroom. He also recalls a massive rock that was in the middle of the parking lot, and for whatever reason, well, he would drag girls back there to get it on. And I feel like the teacher would pull in like, Ron, is that you? Or a giant hedgehog, I can never tell. Ron went on to attain a master's degree from Queens College and then commenced special education teaching in the New York City area. When Ron wasn't enrolled in school, he would take off to the Catskills Mountain. There was a resort town where he would work as both a waiter and a maitre d' at the Paramount Hotel. The job wasn't all that bad, and young Ron, well, he found his endless appetite for sexual promiscuity fulfilled living at this resort. Why? Well, there were so many what he calls bungalow bunnies. Yeah, their husbands were still downtown, and they were 100 miles northwest, so they got away with murder. Or, well, not murder, they got away with a lot of sex. Infidelity. Yeah, that's what I meant. Of him posing nude for Playgirl. Ron knew this opened doors for the females to get to LA, so perhaps it would do the same for him. Plus, his girlfriend was like, you are working with something special, we gotta show the world. The photos were taken in a swanky wing of the Paramount Hotel. They never found out, and they impressed the people over at Playgirl because they were like, yo, Ron, these photos are amazing. But the dude is working with 10 inches of fun, so he probably could have been standing in a big pile of shit, they still would have liked what he got. When Playgirl finally got back to Ron, they had good news and bad news. The bad news, they weren't gonna fly into LA, but the good news, well, they thought his photos were good enough to publish right away. Now, seeing as this was Playgirl, Ron had to give his full name, his real name, as well as his location, Queens, New York. Then all of a sudden, when that Playgirl issue was released, the phone at his parents' home, it would ring off the hook. And unfortunate for them, his grandmother was the one who always picked up the phone, and she would hear the heavy breathing from all his fans. And typically, it would be from males, because apparently, more men are reading Playgirl than the females. That kind of makes sense. Ron's parents didn't give him too much hell. Instead, they asked him just not to use the family name. Moving forward, he dropped Hyatt and would just go with his first and second name, Ron Jeremy. Now, Ron had a friend who was a filmmaker who had just recently gotten into the work of producing
Okay, I've seen enough.
adult content.
Let's get into his chart. So, Ron Jeremy has one of the best trines for porn. So, this trine right here definitely contributed to his success in the industry. He has Mars in Aries, trine Pluto and Leo. You can't get much better than that. And then also his Mars is conjoined to Venus. He also has Sun in Pisces, trine Scorpio, midheaven. Remember I told you that Scorpio Pisces trine is perfect for porn, right? You see that picture? But like I said, that Scorpio Pisces trine is perfect for porn. And then he has Mercury and Aries, ruler of his eighth house, sextile Aquarius ascendant. So that just shows that he had no shame in his game about being naked, and that Mercury and Aries ruling the eighth is him people talking about his penis size. He was basically known for being well endowed. So here's his chart right here. He was one of the few porn stars where I was able to get his birth time. So he's an Aquarius rising at the 0 degree. That's basically representing that he is naked all the time. And he don't mind being naked. Moon in Aquarius in the first house, being very comfortable being naked, can join to that North Node in Aquarius. This also shows that he's also a pervert, and he has a couple of lawsuits out for sexual assault. I don't know if they've turned criminal at this point, but yeah, he's a straight up sleaze ball to the max. All right, next we are going to look at a video of Pinky. Now, Pinky, she is a popular porn star in our modern day and times. She's still working, but she's totally independent now, I think. I don't think she works for any companies. I think she has her own company, her own website, and so forth. So, this is a video. This is before she got all overweight. Her weight has fluctuated over the years, but I don't know what year this video was made, but yeah, she's much bigger now. But a lot of dudes love some Pinky. A lot of women love Pinky too. So let's listen to what she has to say. And Pinky's a Cancer, by the way.
How you doing?
Pinky,
what's
what's
up? It's your girl, you already know what it is. Pinky from PinkyXXX.com. If you haven't been to the website, then where have you been? Anyways, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. We're doing a Getting It Done casting call and autograph signing at J.R. Crickett's. Me and Cherokee and Danielle Dunn. The casting call consists of men and women that's trying to get into business, that be blowing my manager phone up. Now they have an opportunity to meet with her and discuss business and pay her a little something something for the information. We just shot the I'm Hot music video today. You already know it was a hood affair, so we got it in best way we could. My newest movie that's out right now is Pinky's Jumbo Booty Cuties.
Jumbo Booty.
And The Art of Fucking and The Art of Sucking. And I have a new distribution deal with Exquisite. So when you see that, that's me, Pinky XXX Entertainment on Exquisite. I'm gonna be here tomorrow doing the signing. I got a whole bunch of people inside waiting on me, but they're just gonna have to be patient because this Hood Affair DVD joint was way more important than that right now.
I heard it there first.
Yes.
I heard it.
And what else I got going on? You know, I stay doing my thing, traveling state to state, you know, coast to coast, and damn near every weekend I'm somewhere different, if not back-to-back consecutive days in different states and cities. You know, I got my frequent flyer miles up. If you want to get in contact with me, you can go to PinkyXXX.com, click on contacts. My information and my manager's information is there. If you do decide to call her, she screens calls. We call her Danielle Dunn, aka Zero Tolerance. So do send her a text message or email specifying that it's about business.
Well, we need
the best way
and
behind the scenes that keep me afloat and to be able to afford, you know, my lifestyle or whatever. You know, a lot of people just think like, okay, would I just show up? Fuck, that's it. You know, like I'd be like, oh, I got homework to do. They'd be like, you in school? Like, no, I'm talking about like checking emails, sending drops out, sending people my music, or it's just, you know, you be having shit to do, and it'd be so hard because like I'm still young. I still be wanting to fuck off, you know, and you just gotta utilize your time wisely and try to get everything in and be be shit you forget to do, and then people take it personal, and I'll be like, well, damn, that's why your motherfucking ass should have went through my manager. It would have got done. Quit trying to contact me directly to do shit. Because when I, it eventually get done, but it ain't gonna get done like it would if you call my manager.
Right.
So, young girls, I wouldn't suggest you to get into business because you ain't lived your life yet. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you want to do, what opportunities you have. Now, if it's a situation where you've been hoeing since you was 12 years old on the track and you've been hoed out and you 18 and you've been hoeing anyway, and that's all you really kind of stuck with and don't want to do nothing else, you don't want to go to school and you do like just whatever, then maybe it's okay. But besides that type of shit, like I don't really recommend or suggest anybody to get into it unless they older, already experienced life, already know that they family or the people that care about them is gonna accept it, and they not going, because a lot of young girls get into business, jump in head first, make a lot of money in the beginning, quit their day job, think that it's gonna always come like that, and at the end of the day, like, a lot of people can fuck on film, but does not mean you're gonna be a star. You know what I mean? Yeah. A porn star. And, very few people have reached the success that I have and the respect that I get in doing what I'm doing. So, yeah, like, I know they be saying, well, what's that saying? Do as I say and not what I do, or some shit like that. But I don't recommend it. I don't suggest it, especially with the economy being bad. It's a lot of bullshit going on. A lot of motherfuckers getting fucked over. A lot of girls coming in the game doing shit real cheap, or people, pressuring you. And, and even when it wasn't bad, people try to pressure me to do shit like, you're not gonna last long because I'm not fucking. Maybe a director or somebody want to fuck me behind the scenes, and I'm like, no, I'm here for my scene, this is what I do. Well, it's the same thing. People won't try to convince you that everything is just a big party. It's all the same. Don't have no rules, don't have no guidelines, don't have no structure, no, focus. They want to, so you believe everything else everybody else believes, but really it's just to get you off your game. So you will be doing shit for cheap, so they can take advantage. You putting them in your business, and they know that you called them talking about you hurting, so that scene that you wasn't gonna do for that 200, now they know your personal shit. Oh, she gonna do this shit now. It's the same shit, same game. Motherfuckers, you know how it go. But I wouldn't suggest it because it's no guarantee. Like, I'm on some shit now, like, where unless you already doing porn, I'm not fucking with you. I'm not turning no more new people out. Like, that was some shit that I was on when I really didn't know. Yeah. But now that I know what I know, right. If you already doing porn, okay, that's cool. Or if you like older or some shit, got some life experience, and then even when it be real young girls that already doing porn in it, I don't really be wanting to do the scene with them, so I might have them do a scene with somebody else and put the scene up. It just depends on my comfortability, because I have teenage sisters, and right. Like, I don't be really into shit like that, So, but that's what's up. So I don't recommend it. You gotta live your life, and sometimes, it's not like, my situation is different because I'm like my favorite in my family, where no matter what I do, my family gonna love me and support me. You know what I mean? So everybody ain't got that, And I just feel like before you make that decision, go to school.
Yeah, her father very much supports her. Her talking about her family support her. Lilith, you already mentioned it, but yeah, there's a clip, and I couldn't include it, but I wanted to because it's a Vlad TV clip. And Vlad, from what I heard, anybody that tries to use his clips, he comes after them. So I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to get into all that and where my video gets taken down. But there's a Vlad TV clip where she's being interviewed by Vlad, and she tells the story about how her father, who's in prison, I don't know if he's still in prison, but he basically let her know that, yeah, he done seen her, naked ass in the pornos that he watched, because one of his favorite porn stars, Cherokee, be working with her. So, like, that's some crazy shit. But when I saw that her moon was in Leo, I wasn't surprised. I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's her father being very familiar with how she looked like. Undressed, which is some crazy shit. And, she has traumatic past. She said that she was molested by her stepfather since the age of 4. I mean, I think it was between the ages of 4 and 13. So Pinky has Mercury in Gemini, trine Mars and Saturn in Libra. This is why, this trine right here, you could see this trine in that interview that I just played. It seems like she has a rather good head on her shoulders despite what she does for a living, because the advice that she was giving to young girls was rather sound. Like, and she even said that she doesn't even want to turn young girls out anymore and bring them into the industry because she just feels like it's not right. So, yeah, this was her early days when she had first came on the scene. She has Moon in Leo, trine Neptune and Sagittarius. That made her very comfortable with having sex on camera, but that can also point to her father being locked down and him basically saying, "Oh yeah, I've seen some of your movies." That shit is crazy. And then Sun in Cancer, trine Jupiter in Scorpio. That can result in her having a lot of sex, but also her being very, like the men being very fond of her. Like a lot of men, they love some Pinky. So that Sun in Cancer is pointing to that. Is also pointing to her being very comfortable with having sex out in the open. So here's her chart right here. Unfortunately, I don't have her birth time. But yeah, there's that Leo moon, trine Neptune. Here's the sun, trine that Jupiter. And her Jupiter is at the 0 degree of Scorpio. I'm talking about that is a hypersexual person right there. And then her prominent butt. That's represented by that Jupiter at the 0 degree of Scorpio as well. I wouldn't be surprised if she was a Scorpio rising. Then that Mars conjoining Saturn, that definitely helped. That's like making sex a business. That just made her very entrepreneurial, very industrial, very much about being a business. And then that Capricorn South Node helped too. But that Capricorn South Node also speaks to her father. Oh, Alexander, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if she is a Scorpio rising, considering, the nature of her work. And then look, she has Venus at the 29th degree of Taurus, conjoining Chiron in Taurus. So she's probably really good with the oral skills as well. All right, and next we have a porn star. His name is Johnny Sins. So let me play his video. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I think this is like 10 minutes long. But this is a video where he's just talking about some random facts about himself. All right, let's hear what Johnny Sins has to say. And Johnny Sins, I think he's a pretty good looking dude. So I was like, okay, he got a nice body too. I might have to check out some of his work later.
Can I give the order? Go or
These
don't
ads
go.
are killing me.
Your perfect domain is out there. Go to Wix and make it yours.
What's up, guys? Welcome to 50 random facts about me. I was born on New Year's Eve. I turned 21 on December 31st, 1999. So like the biggest party day of the year, I turned 21. I'm a Capricorn, and I'm generally 60% of what they say Capricorns are. I've always been, and I'm still very shy until I take my clothes off or there's no one else around. I can do these videos no problem when no one else is in the room, but put someone else in the room and I'll just clam up and won't be able to say or think about anything. I'm the youngest child. I have a older sister who's 2.5 years older than me and an older half brother. My dad was 13 years older than my mom. My parents never left their hometown. They were both born, raised, got married, had their kids, retired. Dad passed away. My mom's still alive and still in our hometown that I was born in and that she's always lived in. I'm pretty much a loner. When I met Kissa, she was a loner too, and now we're both just kind of loners together. I generally suck at technology. Everything I seem to touch or do with technology always breaks, or I have to do things 2 or 3 times. It's ridiculous. Growing up, our family pet dog was a little Shih Tzu. Now I love giant dogs and pit bulls, so maybe that's why. I lived over half of my life without a cell phone. I don't think I got a cell phone until I was 22 years old. Third or fourth year in college was when I got my first cell phone. Other than that, I relied on,
Let me just stop right here and say it seems like the porn industry hasn't beaten him down. When you see some of these, porn veterans, they do look kind of beat down and they seem like worn out. He seems like he still has a lot of life in him. He seems, very vigorous and vibrant and virile. And yeah,
writing down everybody's phone
I'm digging his energy.
number the old school way. To this day, I only know 2 phone numbers. That's my mom's house, which has been the same number forever, and Kisses, which I forced myself to learn in case, something bad ever happened. My dad and my brother were both in the military.
And may I say, I love a bald-headed man. Oh my God. Okay.
My dad was in the Army, and my brother was in the Air Force. And actually, my brother is still technically works for the Air Force. He's not in the Air Force, but he works for the Air Force. So he's been Air Force.
Well, see, this upbeat personality that you're seeing, that's his. I think he has Mercury conjoined to Mars in Sagittarius. So it's the Sagittarius in him that makes him seem so happy-go-lucky.
For life. I've always had a little bit of social anxiety disorder, but when I am out, I mask it really well. I think there's something to social anxiety disorder and being in the adult business. A lot of people I meet in the adult business, they all say the same thing. Everybody has social anxiety disorder, so maybe there's something to that. Not sure. I hate talking on the phone. I'll only talk on the phone once a week to my mom, and if I absolutely have to, I'll do some business on the phone. But other than that, don't call me. Don't tell me to call you. Don't say.
That's so Sagittarius. Not liking to talk on the phone.
Don't text me and say, can you call me when you're free? No, if you want to tell me something, text me. If you want to ask me something, text me. That's how you're going to get a hold of me. I'm super anal about time, but I'm also always late.
Anal about time, Capricorn, but always late. That's the Sagittarius side of him.
My mom has green eyes. My dad has blue eyes. Gave me these blue eyes. The one food I hate, I can't even stand the smell of it, is pickles. And girls love pickles. Why do girls always love pickles? Why do girls always love pickles?
I like to get a taste of your pickle.
Pickles. The first time I ever went skiing, I broke my leg in this really bad spiral break when I was in 3rd grade. But I became a really good skier after that. I haven't skied in a long time, probably like 10 years, but I used to ski with my dad all the time. Now I just hate the cold, so I don't want to be in it at all. I'm generally very impatient and hate waiting. Unless I have something to do. I was always really shy in school. When I got to high school, I became fairly popular because I hung out with the cool kids, and the drug dealers and the kid that sold weed and some of the jocks. I kind of hung out with everybody in high school, and I would say I was fairly popular in high school, but really shy through elementary school and growing up. Kiss is the love of my life, my best friend, and my business partner. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm not a morning person at all. I'll snooze 100 times before I get up. I hate doing it, but I do it. Pets I had as a kid. I had a Shih Tzu, like I mentioned. I had fish, but they
Let's see if he talks more about the industry.
bugs. I've been bit by a lot of dogs growing up. I don't know why, but that kind of thing. But maybe I've just had a lot of practice at that. But I'm good at most things. Most things I can pick up right away and be fairly decent at them, but maybe not great at them. I'm definitely not musically inclined. I can't find the
Okay.
beat. It's hard.
All right, we're gonna move. Ooh, look at ooh. I forgot I had that picture in there. Okay. So he has Mercury conjoined to Neptune in Sagittarius. So it's not Mars, it's Mercury conjoined to Neptune in Sagittarius, sextile Pluto in Libra. So that made him very easy to have sex on film. And then he has Sun conjoined to Mars in Capricorn. So that can make him very hardworking, very ambitious, and where he can really that also contributes to his good bone structure and his ability to remain lean, but that can also enable him to put in some hardcore work. And sexually, he could probably go for a long time. Venus and Uranus in Scorpio, sextile Pisces, South Node. So he's another one that has that Scorpio Pisces trine that is perfect for porn. Yep. So it's his Mercury conjoining Neptune and Sagittarius that gives him that energy and makes him very, happy seeming and optimistic and just somebody that's very, carefree. So that helps with his heavy Capricorn energy. He could have his moon at the late degrees of Capricorn, or it could be in Aquarius. I'm leaning towards that moon being in, or let me see, did I count him as an Aquarius moon or a Capricorn moon? I think I counted him as a Capricorn moon, which would make sense because he did say he's a loner, and that would be more so Cap moon as opposed to Aquarius moon. Even though he's naked a lot, I would still say that moon would probably be at the late degree, or 29th degree of Capricorn, because I have that birth time set at like 12:23 a.m. But yeah, I'm siding more with Capricorn, especially because of his lean physique as well. All right, next.
Get a personalized rate based on how your family drives with Drive My Way. American Family Insurance.
Next, we're
Sleep better
going
and
to watch
save
a
bigger
little
during
video
the
about
Memorial Day
Nina
event at the
Hartley.
Living Spaces Sleep Center. Save
Old
25%
school
on a
porn
Helix
star.
Twilight Luxe mattress.
In the canon of American counterculture, some figures are born into the movement, others join it, and a rare few embody it so completely that they rewrite the rules of the worlds they enter. Nina Hartley belongs to the last category. Long before she became an icon of adult film, before the instructional videos, before the industry awards, before the cameos in mainstream cinema, she was Marie Louise Hartman, the youngest child in a politically turbulent Berkeley household where sex, politics, and the body were never abstract ideas. They were conversations around the breakfast table. Hartley was born in 1959 at the tail end of the Eisenhower era into a family that America's anti-communist hysteria had already touched. Her father, a San Francisco radio announcer, was blacklisted in 1957. Her mother was a Jewish biochemist who later converted to Buddhism along with her husband. It was the kind of household where ideological experimentation was encouraged. Growing up in Berkeley in the 1960s and 70s meant absorbing the whole messy cocktail of American liberation movements in real time.
If you ever seen the movie Boogie Nights with Mark Wahlberg, she does a cameo feature in Boogie Nights. She plays the guy played by William H. Macy. If you remember that movie, there's a scene where he kills himself because he's sick of walking in on his wife having sex with all these different men. And she's very flippant about it. Like, she'll be like, well, you shut the damn door, I'm busy, or whatever like that. So the last time he sees her having sex at this party, he basically comes out the room after catching her with another man, and he basically puts a gun in his mouth and blows his head off. Like, that movie is so crazy. But yeah, she's in that movie.
Feminism, free love, and California brand mysticism were all background radiation. Hartley moved through it with a bookish seriousness that would later define her public persona. She graduated from Berkeley High School in 1977 and went on to pursue a nursing degree at San Francisco State, eventually earning her Bachelor of Science in nursing.
It would seem quite a few of these porn stars have college education, at least some college, or they actually have college degrees.
Magna cum laude. She was, by every conventional metric, supposed to become a nurse and stay one. But the early 1980s had other plans. Somewhere between anatomy labs and clinical rotations, the future Nina Hartley discovered stripping. In 1982, she began performing at the Mitchell Brothers O'Farrell Theatre. This wasn't a desperation move. It was a conscious, intellectual choice made by someone deeply curious about the politics of erotic labor. Hartley has always been unusually candid about her own impulses. She liked performing, she liked the innate pleasure that came with it, and she liked having autonomy in a world where women rarely got to claim any of the above. 2 years later, in 1984, she walked onto her first mature film set. Her debut film, Educating Nina, directed by then adult film veteran Juliet Anderson, wasn't a blockbuster, but it announced her as someone different, sharp, and articulate. Soon she found her rhythm in the mad dash, churn and burn ecosystem of mid-80s VHS
I'm
that
fast forwarding.
rarely asked for
We
either.
don't got all this time.
Get a personalized
You know
rate
what?
based
I'm
on how
done.
your family drives with Drive.
Okay, so Nina Hartley, Pisces. She had Sun in Pisces, trine Scorpio ascendant. She's one of the few of the 30 that I do have her birth time. So again, she's another one with that Scorpio Pisces trine that's perfect for porn. Then she has Mars in Gemini, trine North Node in Libra. This is why you were seeing like scenes where she was looking like a teacher or she was educating the public. And after her porn career, she started to educate the public about safe sex practices. And she was a big proponent for safe sex. Saturn in Capricorn, trine Pluto in midheaven in Virgo, that also helped her out, being, having a career within the adult entertainment industry. And then she had Saturn in Capricorn, sextile Neptune in Scorpio. So here's her chart right here. She's one of the ones that doesn't have that Neptune sextile Pluto aspect because the orb is a bit too wide. So Neptune's at the 6th degree, Pluto's at the 2nd degree. If Pluto was at that 3rd degree, that would qualify as a sextile. But so it's a little off, but you could still say, especially because Pluto's at the 2nd degree and 31 minutes. But then again, Neptune's at 6 degrees, 40 minutes. So it's almost there, but it's not, doesn't exactly qualify as a sextile. But she does have Saturn in Capricorn, sextile Neptune in Scorpio. That's like making a career out of sex on film, basically. Next one, we have another old school porn star. He was infamous for having a very large penis, but also he was implicated in these murders that resulted from armed robbery. And then he died of AIDS. So I'm going to play a little bit of this interview. It's 21 minutes long, so I can't play the whole thing. But this is a really strange interview, especially I didn't watch the whole thing, but the little bit that I watched, the questions that she was asking him was really weird. But I'm going to play it like right here. I think this is where she starts talking about his penis size.
No, I'm real curious to know, personally, what happened when you were a kid and everybody saw that you had this big piece of meat there and they didn't have it? Weren't they jealous?
Some were, some weren't, yes.
Did they, then it wasn't... Then
Did you hear her? She's asking about when he was a kid, were the other kids jealous of his size? I'm like, are you serious? Oh, let me see if I can speed it up. Okay.
It was an obvious thing. How...
It was obvious since I'd been dropping it in the toilet since I was 4.
Did you think
Wait a minute, I think that's a bit too fast. Baby, you're much too fast. Little red Corvette.
It was cold.
Did your parents have to help you?
No, I usually drug it out by myself. Are we talking about two different things here?
It doesn't matter because I'll put it all together.
I figured that, yes.
What I'm trying to figure out is...
Are you sure I'm getting paid for this?
Yes.
Oh.
What I'm trying to figure out is when you were a kid, what the other kids at school thought of you. I mean, did girls hear about you and want to fuck you? Or
They did, yes.
Did they come and try to fuck you? Or
They
they
did,
try
yeah,
to stay
yes,
away?
frequently.
When I did an interview on the street, nobody wanted to fuck you because you were too big.
Yeah.
relationship. What was that line we were going to use?
Oh, the one we on the way. Yeah, you said that about the girl who you interviewed who said. What did she say?
She said she would faint.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. The girls faint.
Do girls faint when they see this?
They don't actually faint to the point that they fall down and hit their head.
You could tell he high on cocaine right here.
Usually they just faint halfway, like falling to their knees. The camera's taking.
You have any kids?
He looked nasty. He looked like he had every kind of disease under the rainbow.
Kids? No, I like horses.
I understand you like dogs also.
I like dogs, yes.
What kind of dogs?
It's bow wow types, and kind of bark and bite and things.
Okay, let's talk about your personal sex
Boston
life.
Bull Terrier. I like Dachshunds, Chihuahuas, Great Danes, Labrador. I like all kinds of dogs. Cats.
Do you have dogs in your matching game?
No. The Purdue type of person. Mentally, possibly. I cannot go on yet.
No, I'm not done yet. We just calm down and trying to reach my nose. Do you ever get bored on the set? And if you do, what do you do?
I never get bored on the set. Bored on the set, excuse me.
Are you rich?
Am I rich in experiences?
No, are you rich in...
Monetary.
No, you have a nice house here.
It's okay. It looks quite a bit like a studio on that side of my house. This side it looks great.
So that scene in Boogie Nights, it did take from a little bit from John Holmes' life. That one scene where they go to the drug dealer's house and their whole plan is to rob the drug dealer, but then it goes bad. That part of that Boogie Nights movie was loosely based upon John Holmes' story. And also just the fact that Dirk Diggler, the character played by Mark Wahlberg in the movie, he had an unusually large penis. And same with John Holmes. He had so Boogie Nights was loosely based upon John Holmes' story.
What kind of car do you drive? A lot of people want to know.
A lot of people's cars. No, I have a 1954 Ford Fairlane convertible with lots.
All right, that's enough of this dude. Okay. So John Holmes, Leo, he had Mars and Virgo, ruler of the 8th house, conjoined to Chiron and Mercury. It's that Mars-Chiron conjunction that resulted in him having a penis that was exceptional. And that's how it's written in Wikipedia, that his penis was exceptionally large. So 8th house, that's representing his penis, but Mars is as well. And then that conjunction with Chiron is pointing to exceptional. With Mercury being involved, that's basically people talking about it, news being spread about it. And then he had Sun conjoined to Pluto in Leo, which basically means that he was famous for his penis. And then just having the stellium in Virgo, remember I said the porn stars with Virgo planets, they really need to be careful. And that would also include if they're a Virgo rising, they really need to be careful because they're going to be some of the ones that catch the sexually transmitted diseases first. And John Holmes ended up contracting the AIDS virus and he died from complications associated with AIDS. So he had a sad, tragic life. His moon in Aries certainly helped him with being, just uninhibited, being raw with it. And then we have his birth time. So he was a Pisces rising, but he doesn't have that Pisces Scorpio trine. But I don't think he was even in the industry that long at all. Okay, next we have Heather Hunter. So some of you might be familiar with Heather Hunter. Heather Hunter, she was actually featured in one of Tupac's videos, How Do You Want It?
Traffic jam.
Jam water.
Skip over there.
How are you, my dear?
Hey, how you doing, sweetie? So glad to be here.
Hey, I'm so happy. I'm so happy when Mark asked me if I would do this interview with him. I said,
Heather Hunter is a Libra, and in my opinion, you could definitely see the Libra in her.
she doesn't want to talk to me.
I was excited. I was like, oh, Dr. Dre? I said, that's family. I got to do this.
Matter of fact, I told the story about how you escorted me and my mother to the premiere of Who's the Man, believe it or not.
Yes, yes, that was a great movie. That's actually a cult classic, actually.
Which would you say, more accessible, or would you say it's just now the new Vogue thing?
Well, it's to me personally, I think it's just I loved it when it was underground. It's really hard to call an adult star, especially the porn stars, you know. Now there's really just adult performers. Back then when I was in the business, they were really building up an adult star and branding them and making them into what you would call a legend today. So
Because you're a brand. You
yeah,
technically are a brand. Believe it or not, even though you may have retired, you are a brand.
yeah. You know, that was a really
You know what? She looked like she could be Mariah Carey's cousin.
masterful
But I
strategy with my
see somebody said Kamala Harris. I see what you mean, Thule.
manager in me, as well with Vivid, the company I used to be with, because I used to be a Vivid girl. So back then, you know, we really worked on a business branding when it came to creating the persona of Heather Hunter, the Vivid girl. Yeah.
So I want to give you great praise for doing that, but I want to shift gears and talk about you as being now an artist, a painter, a person whose imagination goes beyond the screen as the star. How did you get involved with painting?
Wow. Well, I've been my whole life, you know, I think a lot of people, when I got into the adult industry, I didn't think they expected me to know how to create other things, you know. You know, being an adult star, it's really hard to be taken serious. So you kind of get pigeonholed, and really people didn't know I was a graffiti artist. I've been painting and drawing all my life. It was definitely a personal hobby. And then I decided to take it and make it into a business. And that's
I'm finding it seems like quite a few of these porn stars are well spoken, articulate. You know, they don't come across as like dumb or, just low what would low brow despite what they do.
actually when I got out of
They seem very lucid. Well, John Holmes really didn't, but
the adult industry. So I went from doing artwork on top of that.
But that's what I mean. Like, these are people, this is what I mean. Like, these are basically average people that just happen to have sex on camera for a living. That's why you'll find a lot of them. It's like talking to your average Joe, somebody that, might be well read, articulate, can hold their own in conversations with just about anybody.
That I went into doing music. It just kept going from music to art to books, you know.
Well, I was going down that path because I'm going to.
And of course, her being a Libra, she's going to be intellectual.
Stick with the art. So, are some of your inspiration and some of your paintings inspired from where you were born and raised in the Bronx, New York?
Yes, actually, it's from my being a graffiti artist. You know, I used to tag the trains. I used to go in the subways, tag the trains.
That's how you know her moon's in Gemini.
The A's, the C's, the ones, the twos, the threes in New York City.
How you gonna go out tagging?
She was trying to be a rapper as well. Add her connection to Tupac. That's that Gemini moon all day.
And you're not 6 feet tall. How do you go out tagging on those big subway cars? Who helped you tag those cars?
I was in different graffiti crews. You know, I was with the Kraftwerk Kids at the time, which was Voodoo Ray.
All right, we're gonna move past this. This hairstyle right here, this is so Libra. Oh my God. If y'all seen my Dark Sided Libra video, I don't have my hair up like that, but I did do the part in the middle and I had the waves in my hair. Check out my Dark Sided Libra video. You'll see what I mean. I have the scrunchy waves just like that and my hair is parted down the middle. And I did that on purpose to have that Libra look for the video. I just don't have it like where, it's these two little puffs right here up top, but that part down the middle, very Libra in terms of hairstyle, and especially with the soft wave. Another Libra hairstyle I've noticed is the high bun, which I call like a ballerina bun, where it's high. So many Libra women have that high bun. All right, so Heather Hunter being a Libra, she has Mars in Capricorn, trine Saturn and Taurus. Very entrepreneurial, very business like, very much about taking advantage of opportunities that come her way. Very ambitious. And this is like where she basically, like how dude said, he was like, "You're your own brand." That's that Mars in Capricorn, trine Saturn and Taurus. She also has Venus in Virgo, trine Mars in Capricorn. Like I said, Mars trine Venus is a great trine for porn. And then she has Pluto conjoined to her South Node in Virgo, which just made her naturally geared to be a sex worker. And then it's opposing her North Node in Pisces. This opposition points to where she was saying that, she got out of the porn industry when things started to get really risky health wise. So here's her chart right here. And then here's that Gemini moon. And then she has moon trine Jupiter. But that Gemini moon, that speaks to her wanting to be a rapper, also graffiti. She was a graffiti artist. And then also um her connection to Tupac. I think, she was not dating Tupac, but I think she did give Tupac some back in the day. Tupac was very much into porn stars. And now we're going to segue over into one of the craziest porn stars out there. His name is Brian Pumper. So here's a little short where one of his co-stars is basically describing what Brian Pumper likes.
You know he was trying to portray Lloyd Banks forever.
What was your relationship like with BB?
You know what? I like Brian Pumper because he likes natural. Whenever we did a scene with Brian, he would make us take our fingernail polish off. He didn't want us to shower the day before.
Wait, what?
Very natural.
I understand.
He didn't like makeup. He didn't want none of that. Like, he wanted natural. So a lot of people didn't shoot with him. He had to pay more for us to shoot with him to come to set like that. Toes, he wanted on natural.
What's the shower thing though? He wants y'all smelling like just
a natural smell. Like, you don't stink if you don't take a shower for a day.
Right. But
you know what I'm saying?
Y'all was in
After
hot
2
ass
days, it's bad. But yeah.
I'm going to play that again because this part is very important considering what I'm going to talk about when it comes to his chart.
You know he was trying to portray Lloyd Banks forever.
What was your relationship like with BB?
You know what? I like Brian Pumper because he likes natural. Whenever we did a scene with Brian, he would make us take our fingernail polish off. He didn't want us to shower the day before.
Wait, what?
Very natural.
I understand.
He didn't like makeup. He didn't want none of that. Like, he wanted natural. So a lot of people didn't shoot with him. He had to pay more for us to shoot with him to come to set like that. Toes, he wanted on natural.
What's the shower thing though? He wants y'all smelling like just
a natural smell. Like, you don't stink if you don't take a shower for a day.
Right. But
you know what I'm saying?
Now, for those that were here at the beginning of this live stream, what sign did I say comes into play when it comes to natural? What sign rules natural? Here's a pop quiz, y'all. What sign did I say to look for if somebody wants it natural? Very good, Derek. Derek was paying attention. Kauai was paying attention. Abu was paying attention. Yes, Taurus. Alexander, you was paying attention. Yes, Lil, y'all are some good students. Yes, Shine Star, y'all was paying attention. Yes, Taurus. Natural. So she was saying Brian Pumper wanted the females to be all natural. So Brian Pumper is a Taurus. He got a Taurus stellium. This is what I'm talking about with the natural.
That was in
after
hot
2
ass air.
days, you know,
Yo,
it's
stop.
bad. But yeah.
All right, we're going to play another video featuring Brian Pumper. And just to show you how much of a cornball he is. And this is why I mean, like, a lot of these porn stars, they're hella awkward when it comes to just normal life.
Be just like it's a hobby. Boy got drive, no one can stop me. My mommy got body, and your girl where you can find me. I do this. Be just like it's a hobby.
It seems like quite a few of these porn stars, they want to segue into either music or acting. And usually it doesn't go over well.
Boy got drive, no one can stop me. My mommy got body, and your girl where you can find me. I do this. You can take a fool, he'll know I'm cool. If you ain't know, I'll take you to school. Spit a little G, she think I'm cool. Then I beat Gus till it's black and blue. Yeah, I hit that, you know I split that, you know I smash that. About my cash jack, destroy the Kit Kat. She like it from the back, Mac, true fact, you know I get biz black. Lucy, she wanna do me, and she's so freaky, she got that booty fan. You know the kid style, I don't play. I'm saying give me a minute, I'm a blaze. Man, I'm sick like that flu. I'm Brutus.
Yup, he got egg.
They knew this. I get down, I do this. Be just like it's a hobby. Boy got drive, no one can stop me.
Why is he laying on train tracks?
And your girl where you can find me. I do this. Be just like it's a hobby. Boy got drive, no one can stop me. My mommy got body, and your girl where you can find me. I do this.
That's just sad. If I was his mama, I would not claim him. I'm sorry. I'd be like, I don't know who this boy is. Okay, and then last video featuring Brian Pumper.
Yo, who would post something like that? A fat bitch having boyfriend problems? Who would post something like that? A ugly nigga ain't getting clipped? Or are you a dyke with dreads mad because you couldn't pull a bad bitch you want, so you want to sit on the train, aim your camera, snapshots, post title? You don't want to see me have waves, you don't want to see me lift waves, you don't want to see me bang babes, you don't want to see me get paid. That social media shit for bums with free time in their hand. Only time it makes sense is if you're an established artist dropping new music, or you're a big time comedian, talent act, selling out a theater, business owner, selling product. Lonely niggas wish they had talent. As far as a car, it could be an old nigga with a beard, ketchup stain on his shirt, dirt underneath his nails, corduroys, penny loafers, driving something like this and have 100 million in the bank.
You got some of the bitches. I like the one with the be rapping with the bitches and shit. That fatties, rhymes, and dimes.
Oh, he talking about the fatties, rhymes, and dimes joints. Yeah, these shits go hard. Gotta have your 2257 straight. I don't play no games. 2257.
I like them DVDs with you rapping with the bitches.
Are you a smart businessman? What does Warren Buffett drive? I'm a blast from the past. I hustle, I grind. You can have a local nigga in a Bentley and it's getting taken in 14 days because he couldn't make the payments. Are your royalties straight? Will you have residual income? Is your future secure? You want to pause? They want to pause. They want to pause? Well, let's pause. Who would post something like that? Some fat bitch with ant mud underneath her fifth row. She sleep back here. Was it a fat bitch with ant mud underneath her fifth row? Pimping and pandering is illegal, but is the adult film industry legal? That I will say. Niggas talking about I got STDs. Fuck is these niggas talking about? We pulling up at Rite Aid. We're gonna do the Magic Johnson Oral Quick, FDA approved. We in Rite Aid, June 23rd, 2016. Oral Quick?
What are you looking for?
Oral Quick, the HIV test. Oral Quick.
Pharmacy. He all loud.
Go right here. Yeah.
Pay for that?
Yeah, that's it. How much is that?
With taxes and everything else,
I'm a famous porn star. They trying to bash me online saying I'm broke, I got STDs.
I would not want to take his dirty money.
Approved Oral Quick for the haters. Okay, cool.
I hope that pharmacist had gloves
Fuck
on.
the haters. Niggas want to clown. They fat and they ain't getting laid. Bitches want to clown because they ain't figured out how to keep their boyfriend. All right, cool. And here, the liquid and the swab.
Look at that fake
Two
ass
lines
watch.
is positive, one line is negative. What you do is you swipe the gums on the bottom and the top, the lower and upper gums. We'll place the liquid right here.
Damn, look
You
at all
place
them
the swab
instructions.
in the liquid. Two lines is positive, one line is negative. Here's the liquid. Boom.
Raspberry said Taurus men could be so corny.
Swab. All right, swipe the upper gums. And then swipe the lower gums.
Look at that fake ass jewelry.
And then we place it in the liquid.
I know that thing
Bam,
stank.
right there. That's how we do that. And we just wait. Looks like one line is forming. Once that pink background clears out completely, that'll be your results. The date for the results that we are about to receive for this FDA approved Magic Johnson Oral Quick 6/23/16 7:58 p.m. Looks like that pink background is clearing out and there's only one line. At this point, the pink is pretty much cleared out and there's one line. It's not like a second line will automatically just appear or form at the end. No, what we see right now is basically what it is. But I'm gonna wait for the pink to clear out. Looks like one line has formed and the pink has completely disappeared.
I just have to ask you a couple of questions for legal purposes. Did you shoot the scene today under your own free will without the influence of alcohol or drugs?
Yes, I did.
Are you 18 years of age or older?
Yes.
Are your IDs real?
Yes.
Did anyone force you to do anything that you didn't want to do?
Nope.
Was I a gentleman?
Yes.
Did you have a good time?
Fuck yeah.
Why do they all look like crack whores?
$1 million swag. Your boy B Pumper, cell phone adventures.
Excuse me,
excuse me. You're very beautiful.
that?
Only get it when I am in the mood, sir.
Blue line, this nigga always on the blue line.
I ain't just riding the train. I know it's a very busy moment. I do music, instant chemistry. You like that? Pumper cell phone adventures. Did I just meet you, sweetheart?
Yes. Is he serious? He really, today was fun though. Very adventurous. I never thought I would just let a guy like just me.
Got caught by the freaking cops. That's crazy. If I don't make no money off this, my nigga, I'm hanging it up. I'm going to work at McDonald's. This is some real adventure shit. Them niggas could have really took us to
Yes, that's part of his whole shtick. He picks women right off of the street and then puts them in movies. And he wants the stankier they are, the better. Like that one chick was saying, oh, he likes them natural, but I've heard other women talk about no, he wants their coochie stanking. Like if it ain't humming, he ain't coming.
wanted to be assholes, my nigga. They could have took us to jail. Instead of always trying to bash someone, generate your own confidence, develop your own drive. You could become gifted. Nigga, I'm counseling couples. I'm the answer man. I got advice for why shit ain't right with your wife. Instead of trying to be my enemy, I'll answer some questions. Okay, you guys have a healthy bedroom life, but do you connect on a mental, spiritual, emotional level? I talk to a chick in the mall. If I'm not in a rush, she'll pick my brain. Oh my God, thanks for the picture, the autograph. Never thought I would meet my favorite porn star. Wait, since you're the pro, can I ask you? I'll cut her off and already know she's gonna ask. What am I gonna ask you? You love your boo. Y'all been together 6.5 years. In the beginning, the sex life was better. Things are changing. You think he's got pussy on the side. You don't want to send things down the drain. You want to make sure you're the total package so he's not fooling around behind your back. You went in his phone, you discovered some disturbing news. You're not sure if your head is the best or if your brace is getting away. You don't want him cheating on you with a fat girl who gives head better than you. Every time you guys make love, he always moves your head away and just comes up and slips it in. You want to make sure that you're
You see how he's just running his mouth nonstop? That's his Mercury conjoined to Mars.
great oral giver. You want to please him orally. Come on, my nigga, I know what's going on in your life. What's this? The paperwork's in place, no foul play. The kid's an artist, leave him alone. The kid wants to be a journalist, be charming. The ladies love him, let him be. We got bigger fish to fry. Lawyers, cops, doctors, firefighters, judges, I'm giving advice. You're doing overtime. It's all for the kid. She should understand. Why let 22 years fall apart? You're getting ready to retire. Now she wants to pull this crap. Hey, Pumper, man, she spotted you. We were getting some ice cream. Take a picture of my wife. This is my wife, Karen. I'm John. She's a nurse. I'm a cop, bro. I've gotten some pointers from you, man. You helped our relationship.
Yo, who would post something like that? A fat bitch having boyfriend problem. Yo, who would post something like that? A ugly nigga ain't getting clipped. Yo, who would post something like that? Some dirt nigga pussy problems getting solved. Yo, who would post something like that? Some local nigga limp is here from no chick.
All right, so that's that.
Yo, who would post?
So Brian Pumper, Taurus, liking them all natural. So he got Sun conjoined to Mercury and Mars in Taurus. Like I said, that's that Mercury and Mars in Taurus that causes him to just be talking nonstop, talking a bunch of bullshit. Then he also has Venus conjoined to Chiron in Taurus. So that's him wanting women to be a certain type of special way, to smell a certain type of way. Because Taurus deals with smell. You know, it deals with the five senses, and smell is a big part of Taurus. And then again, remember the oral, that's a big part of Taurus. So he also has Mars in Taurus, quincunx, Uranus, and Scorpio. This quincunx is, and you know, usually there's an opposition, but it's because Uranus is at the late degrees of Scorpio. If it was in Sagittarius, that would be that pure quincunx. So I look at this quincunx to represent him wanting the women to be like he don't get turned on unless the coochie is a little, musty. It's a little rank. It's a little overripe. That's the only way he gonna get turned on. And from what I heard, like before he has sex with a woman on film, he'll like put his nose in between her ass cheeks and he inhales deeply. So here he is right here. Here's that Mars quincunx Uranus with Uranus at the 29th degree of Scorpio. That's like he likes it so right to the point where it's straight up stanking. So I'm looking at this quincunx where sometimes he has to redirect the women. He'd be like, wait, I didn't want it that ripe. You know, go wipe a little bit down there. Just don't shower, but wipe a little bit of that funk. But it's almost right. So that's like recalibrating the funk when you see that quincunx. Moon in Capricorn. And men with moon in Capricorn, not all men. And I was telling one of my students this, and she couldn't believe me. But if she watches this, hopefully she'll get what I'm saying. You'll have some men with moon in Capricorn. There could even be Capricorn sons where they want their woman to smell like she been chopping wood all day. Like they like that sweaty, funky smell. So he got it double with the moon in Capricorn, and then also having Venus conjoined Chiron, and then that Mars quincunx Uranus. Very much about the stank puss. And then having Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio too, that makes him extra fixated on odor, but also the coochie, but also the asshole that is. He has his South Node in Aquarius squaring that Taurus. So it's squaring Mars, Mercury, and the Sun and Venus. These squares right here, he couldn't be normal if he tried. It just shows that he's weird and that he's into some like perverse shit. So the stuff that he shows on camera, that ain't even the half of what he's into. I mean, he kind of showed you with him pulling out that dirty mattress, him pulling the women off of the street. They all look like crack whores. And then last but not least, we have the queen of porn, Miss Vanessa Del Rio. So I have a couple of videos of her that I'm going to play. This one, I'm going to skip some of it because it's just basic information.
And I give the order. Go or don't go.
I just saved this dude a lot of money on his first dodge. Who's next?
In 1986, a woman stood before a camera, and the world saw her as both rebel and icon.
Now, this woman oozed sexuality. She oozed lust, which is why I think she's a Scorpio rising. I don't have her birth time, but she has Mars in Scorpio at the 18th degree, and that 18 can be hypersexual. But this woman, like, she exudes sexual energy, which I believe she is Scorpio rising with Mars in Scorpio in that first house. That would make perfect sense.
This wasn't just a performance, it was defiance, a celebration, a life laid bare under the weight of dreams and judgment. Her name was Vanessa Del Rio, and deep inside, Vanessa Del Rio would become her anthem. This is her story. Ana Maria Sanchez was born on March 31st, 1952 in Harlem, New York, a vibrant, gritty melting pot of cultures. The only child of Cuban and Puerto Rican immigrants, she grew up in a world of contrasts. Her mother, deeply religious, filled their home with prayers and modesty. Her father, a dreamer, shared tales of distant lands. Young Ana Maria was captivated by the silver screen. Her mother took her to see Spanish-language films starring Isabel Sarli, an Argentinian actress whose fiery charisma commanded attention. My mother didn't understand her strength, Vanessa later recalled, but I saw her power. That power to captivate, to defy expectations, became Anna Maria's guiding light. Her childhood was sheltered, her mother's faith a tight leash. By 8th grade, tired of rules, she left school. Harlem streets pulsed with music, rebellion, and possibility. At 18, she learned coding, a rare skill for a woman in the 1970s, and worked as a computer programmer. But the conventional life felt like a cage. She craved freedom, adventure, something real. So she ran. With a free-spirited boyfriend, she lived on the road, chasing an unscripted life. It was reckless, thrilling, alive. In those fleeting years, Anna Maria began to shed her old self, stepping toward a new identity, one that would shake the world. What does it mean to break free? To choose a path the world calls forbidden, yet claim it as your own? Anna Maria was about to find out. At 22, she met a man who saw her fire. He was a talent agent, offering her a stage in the entertainment world. She took the name Vanessa after a childhood friend, and Del Rio, inspired by actress Dolores Del Rio, a nod to her love of cinema's glamour. Vanessa Del Rio was born, not just a name, but a persona, bold and unapologetic. In 1974, she stepped into her first film. The sets were chaotic, the pay modest, $40 for a short project, $150 for a feature, but Vanessa was electric. Her presence, a blend of raw energy and fearless authenticity, set her apart. She wasn't acting, she was embodying.
You hear that? A blend of raw energy and authenticity. That's Aries all day.
12 years, she starred in dozens of films, her charisma filling every frame. Harlem's Daughter became a star in a world both celebrated and misunderstood. Her performances were vibrant, unpolished, alive, like a pulse you couldn't ignore. Fans compared her to Carmen Miranda, a whirlwind of passion. She embodied a woman who owned her strength in a society that often demanded women hide it. But freedom came at a cost. The industry thrived on the edge of respectability, and Vanessa navigated it with grit, her Puerto Rican and Cuban roots grounding her in resilience.
Can I give the order?
No, they didn't.
Go or don't go.
Sir, he will get the message. I can't say when he'll return the call. All right. You're welcome. I'm sorry. That's okay. Can I speak to a detective, please?
Excuse me, you're Vanessa Del Rio.
Right. I've been getting harassing phone calls at home.
I knew it was you. I said to myself, hey, wait a minute, that's a celebrity there.
But where should I know you from?
She's sort of a famous performer in the field of adult entertainment films.
Interesting.
The world's gaze was relentless, often reducing her to a symbol rather than a person. What is a woman's power when it's...
I won't gotta hear all this feminist stuff. All right, moving on to the next video. So I'm going to play little clips of this. This is an interview she did with this talk show called City Line.
Don't let your vacation rental and its pool be invisible. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com.
Ultra Fit, with room for your toes to crush your run, not your feet. Ultra, stay out there.
It's 12 noon. We're live on City Line. Hi, I'm Jackie Hall.
And I'm B.T. Bentley. If asked to define pornography, what would you say? X-rated movies, books describing sex acts, or topless nightclubs?
However you define it, it has become an issue of the 80s with crusades against it and for it.
X-rated video producers, magazine publishers, and porn stars say the business is thriving in spite of recent rulings by the U.S. Commission on Pornography.
Just what is going on? We'll find out today on City Line when we meet Vanessa Del Rio, one of the leading ladies of adult entertainment.
Matching the Vietnam veteran with the potential employer. I'm T. Montier.
Oh, no, they didn't.
It's not nuts, it's peanuts.
Insurance companies protect their bottom line. We're more interested in protecting your rights, what you're entitled to. To make sure your rights are protected, call East Valley Injury Law today.
Pornography star, right? Wouldn't they?
Yes, yes.
Do you have any objections to that?
Well, pornography has gotten a bad, the word pornography, I mean, it means so much that, includes to me violence. But adult entertainment, I mean, when it's done well, See, first of all, my feelings now of how I feel about what I've done and where I'm going and everything, I think that the only real victims in pornography are the people that are in front of the camera, because you lose something of yourself, you know, and I found this out later on in life, and that's what my path is now, is finding out who I am, what I'm about.
You actually thought of yourself as a victim in that whole process? Philosophically?
Throughout, but you don't like to think about it at the time because you have to get over what you're doing. But recently, and in my most growing years, which have been the last 3 years, I have felt that I don't want to be a victim. I'm my own victim because I let people use me. And I mean, I think if a couple wants to watch pornography at home, and if it enriches their love life, I think that's fine. But really, the ones that are getting hurt are the ones that are in front of the camera, because you lose something inside yourself. I didn't know how to love, because I was transcending that through the camera or on stage, which I enjoyed doing very much. But then my personal life just, you know, it is true what people think. It does destroy your personal ability to be able to love someone and to share.
Did that victimization start from the very beginning? I mean, you know.
Well, he done seen all her shit. He
Tale
watched all her film.
really
You
how
could
got
tell.
started in? I mean,
He's very
12 years
familiar
later,
with
you
her
look
work.
back in retrospect.
Well, first of all, I started because I needed money to pay my rent because I was going to Europe. And, I mean, it was fun. I had a ball doing it. And when I got back, I was like, well, I want to do some more of those, you know. And it's just the lifestyle that I was leading. I mean, I was into drugs, and it was all fun. And you don't see it for what it really is until later on, what it does for you as you're growing as an individual. You know, I don't regret what I've done because I've learned from it.
Okay, just what did you do? I mean, how
Look,
did you
look.
approach what you did?
A female host, she feels some type of way. She a little uncomfortable. She like, what did you do? What? I'm trying to understand this hit. But look at the male host. He like,
How did you really?
Very naturally. I mean, I didn't have to go through any kind of meditation, or I don't even think I really thought twice. Maybe like, sounds interesting. I would try anything once, you know. But see, once after your back is turned, after you've done the film, people that are doing the film, their opinion of you is not very high. I mean, when you're dealing with doing sex on film, you do get treated a little bit like you're nothing, you know?
So at some point, you must have bought into that yourself.
Right, and you have low self-esteem, but you don't want to really feel that because I still have to be Vanessa Del Rio. I still have to be a star and make my living. So
that female host looking at her like she the enemy because she already know her husband be watching her.
Don't feel that until later in life. You feel that something
Look
inside
at
of
them.
you is just
They
not
like-
there. It's missing. That's what I found.
Was there any event or circumstance that helped bring this into focus for you, or was it just at some point you just turned around and looked back?
Well, I got busted. I got busted in Richmond, Virginia. This is almost like coming back. It all started in Baltimore, as a matter of fact, because the same people...
Not on the block.
No, that owned the theater that I worked for.
She talking about not on
Virginia,
the block.
owned the same theater.
Do you see that dig? She tried to say you got busted on the block on the host stroll. Yeah, the host ain't feeling her at all.
Baltimore, which
The
was
female
the
host,
X
that
or
is.
the Little X or something. And I was doing my show. I had drugs, and they got me for indecent exposure, and they came up and they found the drugs. And I was going back and forth to the court for about a year, going over the trial and everything. And then I finally got sentenced to 2 60-day sentences. And I wound up doing about 40, 45 days. And that was, I think, it's a blessing. I'm thankful that I got busted, because at that time it was like, what am I doing here? There's a reason that I'm here, and I am going to learn it. And, I had a really good chance to look and see what was inside.
We're going to find out a little bit more about what you saw when you did
Look at
back, but we're going
She's like, we're going to find out a little bit more.
We'll be right back. And we also want to invite you to call in if you have a question or a comment.
Look. The legs moving, so he's getting a hard on. Oh, how cute. Look at that.
With
Oh my
Vinted,
God.
Kayla can easily earn extra cash. She just has to list and sell what she doesn't wear.
That's exactly why I have YouTube Premium.
How much of that was acting and how much of that was really sexual arousement and involvement in a sex act as an individual involved?
Oh, she judgmental. Look at her. Look at her expressions. She does not like Vanessa. But look at his face. Look at him. He like, I want to know more.
Well, when you're actually involved in the sex act, I mean, the way I feel, I enjoyed it because, you know, at least I was still alive that way. I feel that if you have to deaden yourself to the point where you're not going to feel anything, I mean, that's doing some damage. So, I mean, I enjoyed what I did. I mean, I really enjoyed those 12 years. It's just that I grew out of it. It's not for me anymore. And that's basically it. But it is real. I mean, it's really going on.
What kind of change took place in the industry? 12 years, that spans quite a bit of time in terms of the growth of the industry to this point. What kind of changes do you recall?
Well, when I started, there was things called one-day wonders, which were films that were done in one day. Then everybody started getting, well, higher budgets, and because the industry started to grow a little bit with the video and everything. And then from what I understand now, it's right back to where it was. Like they're doing videos in one day.
So they're just cranking them out.
Right, they're just cranking them out. The women are coming in truckloads, and it's just the whole situation, from what I hear, is getting worse. As far as just what goes on, it's a meat market now more than ever.
Okay. Well, we've invited our viewers from home to call in, and they have already, and we're going to go to them. Hi, caller. You're in touch with Vanessa Del Rio.
Hello, Vanessa. How are you doing today?
Good.
I'd like to know, like, do you have like a list that I could go there and get of all your movies?
Did I ever make a list?
I mean, is there a list of all your movies?
Yes, there's a list in, I forget what book it is, but there's a couple of books out that list all the films and the stars, and they have a chapter sort of with each star's name and how many films and the titles of the films.
Oh,
you can ask your local video store owner.
Okay.
You should know.
Well, I seen you once in Baltimore, and I enjoyed myself tremendously.
Thank you.
We won't ask how, but thank you.
You do have an enduring public.
I love my fans.
Is that a problem for you? I mean,
No,
I
it's not
think
at
anybody
all.
who's visible, has to deal with that to a certain extent, but particularly because of the nature of the way your public knows you. Has that ever been a problem?
No, nobody's ever been rude. I mean, maybe one drunk guy one time, but nobody's really ever been rude. I think that I command respect when people meet me, because I know other girls that when they meet them, they'll come out with a sleazy remark or something, and that's because that's what they exude. But I enjoy my audience. I really like my fans.
What about the other side of the coin, the more puritanical types?
Never. Nobody's ever come up to me, with a cross like this.
Was there ever a limit that you set for yourself when you were doing the movies? You said, now look, I'll do this, this, and this, but I will not do that.
Animals and children.
Well, but
But why? But why is that?
Because
You have to ask
it's not
why?
right. I mean, I have done S&M movies, so
Tell us a little more about that.
where they tie you up, and I guess people would call it abuse on women or something, But at the time, it was a good time.
The issue of children in pornography, of course, is probably one of the major factors in the
I think
crackdown
it's totally
of the past few
disgusting.
years. But it has existed. There are major stars who it's come out in recent years were actually underage, but they didn't find this out until years later. Was that common? Is it common?
I've never seen it. It's always something that's done real underground, like under a rock somewhere.
But it always makes its way to the stores, right? Okay, let's take another call from home. Hi, caller. You're on City Line.
Yes, good morning. Mr. O'Reilly seems to be very articulate and does seem to have a conscience. And I would like to know her basic religious affiliation and her educational background.
My educational background, I went to Catholic school. I had IBM training. I was a computer programmer. And as far as my belief is, I believe in myself. I was raised Catholic, and I have, I believe in God within me.
Okay, so hopefully that proves that you're a
And I
normal
did
human
find
being.
God within me, actually, through bodybuilding.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, when I was in jail, I started exercising in jail, actually, and then I had seen a magazine, and I saw bodybuilder woman, and I just wanted it. I wanted muscles, and I went after them full force, and I got them.
So, but how did the conversion come about?
That's another reason why I believe she's a Scorpio rising with Mars and Scorpio in the first house, bodybuilding. So after her porn career, she became a bodybuilder.
I guess just being in jail and realizing that I wasn't going anywhere, and just through exercise, almost like an instinct, like because self-improvement makes you feel better about yourself. So it's just, I just went for doing exercises, for doing something to strengthen myself from within and outside, just all over, and to do something to make me feel good for me.
A new form of release, perhaps?
Right, it is, and it makes you just feel strong inside, and it forces you to find your spirit, your spiritual growth. It makes you grow, and it puts you very in touch with yourself. I mean, I sell it to death, you know. It's just the best thing.
And we're going to talk more about that, too, before you leave here today, but let's take another call from home. Hi, you're live on City Line.
Hi, good afternoon, Vanessa. Welcome to Baltimore.
Thank you.
I was just wondering if they're planning on re-releasing Deep Inside Vanessa Del Rio due to the fact that Tracy Lords was in it and they had pulled it from my local video store.
I don't know. I heard that, but it's still out there. I guess it depends on where they pull it.
Mm-hmm.
What was that movie about? Video about. I never saw it.
It was a real spoof on, you know, me, Vanessa Del Rio. I came from Russia, went to Paraguay to become a porn star. It was really spoofy. It was real funny.
What was your favorite of all the videos that you did do over a 12-year period?
Filthy Rich. It was a plot. It was funny. There was comedy. They really took their time out to get acting out. It wasn't wall-to-wall sex.
Mm-hmm. How long did a typical movie take to produce?
Standard about 4 days, sometimes a week, sometimes maybe just 1 day. It depends on the budget.
Mm-hmm. And now you're saying that they've gone back to the 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's partially because of the technology changeover to video cassettes and the ease of doing it that way?
Yeah, and all they need to do is make a real nice package, and it's going to sell. You know, it doesn't matter what's inside. And that's what I hear from a lot of people that buy videos and rent videos. That once they rent it, that in the box it sort of has nothing to do with what's inside, and once they get it, it's nothing.
That's part of the victimization too. I suppose.
Right. There's so many people that are doing them, and they're just cranking them out so much.
So now you're moving to a new type of video.
Right. Well, actually, I have a book
Yeah, look
coming
at
out,
his smile.
which is still in the final stages of negotiation, and I'm also going to be working on a video, bodybuilding video.
And what's the book about?
It's about my change, what happened, things, revelations that have come to me of why I got into it, real deep things. And
I'm going to fast forward this a little bit, see what else she has to talk about. Ah! They keep getting me with these ads.
Nuts. It's peanuts.
I eat all the right foods. I do a lot of meditating, and I'm into my spiritual growth a lot, and it's so exciting and it's so fulfilling that that's really all that I need and I want. And then whatever I can get from that.
Let me ask you, are you a fan of Vanessa Del Rio?
Yes, I am. I am a fan.
Do you have a favorite movie?
My wife is over there. I don't want to get
okay. Well, there are bachelor parties, and you're allowed at bachelor parties to see them, right?
Yeah.
That was before you're married, so it shouldn't make a difference.
He has me on the spot.
Okay. We'll throw it back to you, Jackie.
Okay. Do you work, you know, at any time during now that you're not making the films? Do you have speaking engagements? Do you perform live or anything, or what?
Well, what I'm doing now is I run my fan club. I do personal appearances every now and then, and I have a few people that I actually instruct in bodybuilding.
Okay. Let's take another call from home. Hi, caller. You're on City Line.
Yes, I would like to ask, was it difficult to perform with another woman, and who was your favorite star to perform with?
Well, no, it wasn't difficult to perform with another woman, and I really don't have any favorite stars, you know, to work with.
So you approached performing with another woman how?
Well, I have been with another woman in my personal life.
The female host needs some tip.
I was a very free spirit, so I really didn't put judgment on something. I just enjoyed it. Very hedonistic, I guess.
Would someone then have categorized you as lesbian?
No, I don't think it's that.
Bisexual?
I would imagine bisexual, that would be more the term. But I enjoy men. I mean,
Look, the female host perks
one
up
man
with
now,
this part of the
I never
conversation.
really looked at it as labeling. You know, it was just enjoying
Look,
life.
she like, I could get down with that.
BT?
Another question. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Baltimore. I was
Look at Uncle Jesse.
and ask you, because I have did bodybuilding. I think it's a beautiful thing that you're into. And how do you feel about this as far as future-wise? Are you going to take continuation with your bodybuilding?
Yes. Oh, that's my whole new thing now. That's what my life's about now.
Well, I would like to say congratulations and thank you, because it's a beautiful thing if you stay into it.
Thank you.
Quite welcome.
You know, you think you're going to make a total break into bodybuilding?
Oh, yes. I mean, I already have.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's what we've been talking about, teasing.
So
And now we're
Wait,
going
who's
to really
that
get
guy
into the
next
whole
to her?
issue of
Who
Vanessa
is
Del
he?
Rio and
We
her
missed out on
bodybuilding.
something. Wait a
Please
minute.
stay with us.
Is that her manager, trainer, what?
Download Love's Rewards
my
and get a free
God.
Love's coffee or fountain drink. Just buy any four and get the fifth one free.
Donna just discovered that on Vinted,
We'll
she
watch
can
one more
easily
segment
earn extra
and then
cash.
we'll watch the final video.
All she has to do is list and sell.
Cityline guests are chauffeured by Paramount Limousine Service. The best
desired from the very beginning. I mean, as soon as you saw her, I mean, it's like, you know, let me at it type of attitude. So it was like, you could see she's a real searcher. She's a searching individual. She's a real searcher. And you could see at the point that she got to the gym, she was really searching for something. It obviously goes past the bodybuilding, but the bodybuilding was a tool to get to her, a means to an end, so to speak. So in seeing that, you know, which is different from, say, 80% of my clients, it was great to want to work with her. You know, because she was dying to really learn all about it. And that's exactly, you know, how it started. And she was the best student I ever had, and now she's the best girlfriend I ever had.
Oh, that's her man.
Let me
Okay.
just ask you one more quick question. Is there something different about the approach that you and Vanessa are going to be taking with your upcoming outlets for other people to learn?
Well, yeah, most people take exercise as something that's purely on the surface level. They take it something that's purely just from the skin. We feel, you know, and it's something I've always felt, that it has to come from the inside. Anything you want to be successful at has to start in your head. So we sort of put the two together, the mind and the body. So if you plant the correct seed in your mind, then instantly what will happen...
Satisfy those consumers a little more. But I think it is very, very good chance that it will grow a lot larger. There is a book coming out in January called The Black Video Guide. It's the Black Video Adult Guide, and that is going to be very good. It's going to give you a list of videos that's available.
They
for
really,
the black
this show really made
Ironically,
porn
you should
seem
say that,
respectable,
because
didn't
our
they?
next guest in another show coming up very, very soon.
They
will be
handled
the,
this very
producer of that
tastefully.
guide. So our audience will be able to hear firsthand. Vanessa Del Rio, after meeting you today, I've never seen your tapes. I'm going to have to go to the video store.
Oh,
my tapes, I know from personal experience.
She said she's about to go to the video store and get some of her tape.
You are absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming to City Line today. And thank you, Rick. Thank you, Mike, as well. We'll take a break and come back with T. Montier in the newsroom.
All right, last video clip. Then we'll talk about her chart a little bit before we close out.
In 1986,
Oh, wait,
a
this is the
woman
wrong
stood
one.
before a
Hold on.
camera, and the world saw her as both rebel and icon. This wasn't just a performance, it was defiance.
Okay, so I think this one is going to be
peanuts.
dealing with her much older, where she's much older.
Someone's been run over by a snowcat. Hurry. They're coming as
Wait a
fast as
minute.
they can, okay?
Medics are providing life-saving.
Oh, wait.
It's 12 noon. We're live.
Okay, here's the one. This is her much older. I think she's in her 50s here.
I was a porn star. I started in 1974. I used to watch movies of an extremely sexual woman. Her name was Isabel Sarli, and you will read about her in the book. And there was something about her sexuality. She was pure raw sex, and I wanted to be just like that. And I remember lying in bed and making the
You
decision.
hear that? Pure raw sex. That word raw, Aries. That's what got her in the beginning.
That I wanted to be a whore when I was about
Wait, let me rewind
15,
it.
14, something like that.
She said she
never
learned,
really.
she decided she was
When
going to
I
be a
was
whore
about
at 14.
15.
Let me bring that back a little bit.
Pure raw sex, and I wanted to be just like that. And I remember lying in bed and making the decision that I wanted to be a whore when I was about 15, 14, something like that. Never really knew that I was being the first at anything. I was just being. I was just hanging out and having a good time, and porn was a means to make money. So it's just many years later that I'm finding out I broke barriers, like the first woman of color, the first woman to do a DP.
You hear how she's saying the first woman of color, the first woman to do a DP. That's Aries all day. Aries is the first to do things.
Loved sex.
Aries is the pioneer.
That I wasn't trying to prove anything. I was there for the sex. I guess I came into the business a la chicka chicka boom, because that was just how I was. And I wore a lot of makeup, and I used to bring my own costumes and they weren't really costumes. They were my actual clothes. So how I went around during the day and night and in my life is how I went into doing these films. To get a loop done was like $40 per loop. Features, which were one-day wonders, $150. So it just about paid the bills. What's in the book? Me, all of me, my career, nasty pictures, Polaroids, my bodybuilding pictures. A lot of great nasty, really nasty pictures. Some of my favorite nasty pictures, which are really dirty. In the art edition, in the front, is going to be lenticular, which I just learned what that word was. And it's going to be me going like,
DP stands for double penetration, Jules. Don't ask me how I know. But like I said, I had to do some research. But no. But yeah, it does mean double penetration.
like that. So I'm going to be licking my lips as you move the book. And these are all hand signed by me. So you're getting my signature on each and every one of them. But I'm not so good at advertising myself. There's a 2.5-hour DVD, which Miss Diane Hansen interviewed me. Okay, some of the clips which you're going to see in the DVD are from my very first movie, which is China Doll, in 1974. Actually, October 1974, to be exact. And my last movie, which was Devil and Miss Jones, in 1985, 86. My favorite part of the book, I think it's the nasty pictures.
Of course.
Like the ones that are really explicit. Because the book is going to be so classy outside. And then when you open it, it's like white and leopard and very presented in a very classy way. And then as you turn the pages, there's just like filthy pictures in it. I guess I don't take life so seriously to think that labels are going to define me. I mean, what I did were slutty things. So, I mean, I'd like to have the word slut capitalized in the dictionary, just like the word Madonna is. Yes, I was a slut. I was a bad girl, a very bad girl. But I had fun doing it, so I can't say that I regretted something that I had fun doing. It would be denying my life, which I can't do. I'm just a big cartoon. And that's the book. I mean, the book is like there's a lot of drawings of me. The book is just one big cartoon of my life.
All right, so that is Vanessa Del Rio. So Vanessa Del Rio, Aries with Mars and Scorpio at the 18th degree. That 18th degree, very sexual, can produce a very sexual person, especially when it's Mars at the 18th degree of Scorpio. But that 18th degree can also produce a conflict between the spiritual and material side of life. And one of the things that I could tell in the interview, the one we watched, where it was like the old school interview from the 80s, you could tell during some parts, some of the questioning made her a little uncomfortable. When they captured her still image, there was some of her facial expressions looked to be a little like she was a little down, felt a little downtrodden. Um, and again, I think it's because she was looking at the scorn on some of the people's faces in the audience. She felt judged and things like that. So, yeah. So that 18, again, her growing up Catholic, but then embarking upon a career in the adult entertainment industry, and then wanting to segue into bodybuilding. I'm pretty sure she probably wasn't getting respected as a bodybuilder either because of her past. So she had that Mars in Scorpio trine Venus in Pisces. Again, Mars trine Venus is a great aspect for being an adult entertainer. She also has Mercury. Oh, and one of the reasons why with the Mars trine Venus, that's like women and men find you attractive, or women and men, are aroused by you. So, and it could just make it easy to hook up with other people and have sex with other people. She also had Mercury and Jupiter in Aries, trine Pluto in Leo. That Mercury conjoined to Jupiter in Aries gave her just that vibrant, energetic type of persona. And it always, made her optimistic, even when, she was getting scornful looks, especially by some of the women in the audience. She was still able to keep a stiff upper lip. She was still able to be positive. But this Mercury conjoining Jupiter in Aries, trine Pluto and Leo, that was perfect for her being very uninhibited as a porn star, and her basically saying she loved being a slut. She had a lot of fun making these movies. She wanted to be a hoe. She wanted to be what did she say? She wanted to be a whore, or did she use the word whore or slut? I forgot what the word. I think she said whore from an early age. That Mercury conjoined Jupiter, Aries, trine Pluto, and Leo can make a person very okay with that type of lifestyle. And then she had Moon in Gemini, trine North Node in Aquarius. I don't know if you remember, but in one of the clips she said, "Oh, I'll try anything once." That's very Moon in Gemini of her. Trine North Node in Aquarius. This can also represent the book that she put out. And then she has Moon in Gemini, trine Neptune in Libra, and that can deal with her being very comfortable on film, and also the pictures that were in that book that she was so proud of. She said her favorite are the nastiest picture, the real nasty pictures. She's somebody that keeps it very real. She's a very authentic type of person, and that's where that Aries comes in. But yeah, so that concludes my video on the astrology of sex workers. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. My favorite part, aside from the video clips of this live stream, what the hell? Preparing live stream. My favorite part, are y'all still here? I don't know why it's saying preparing live stream, but my favorite part was when we were looking at the stats, because I feel like the stats were very interesting and very telling, especially when we broke it down between like sun versus the moon versus Mars and all that. So for those that came in late, you definitely want to check out the early part of this video where I get into the statistics involving sex workers using the sample of 30 porn actors and actresses. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments later on. Thank you everybody for attending this live stream. If you would like a reading, you can go to my website. The link is in the description section. And yeah, stay tuned for another video. I think I'm going to put out a random video before I do my next sponsored video. So stay tuned for that. Maybe I can put one out this weekend. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, hope everybody stays safe, and yeah, get your freak on every now and then. Just don't go overboard and practice safe sex. That's very important, especially nowadays. I heard that there's a new STD out now. I don't know what it is called. Thank you so much, Kawaii. And yeah, feel free to sponsor more videos because you know I got you. And if anybody else would like to sponsor a video, you can send me an email with video sponsorship on the subject line. And then you could tell me what video you would like to sponsor. And then we could talk about how much the sponsorship fee is and all that good stuff. But yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And I'm out. Peace and many blessings. Thank you, everyone. Love y'all.